Dane, got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You posted yesterday that thing with the hat, about the hats.
Yeah.
When you go through all that and you do the customize and then you put the logo on the hat,
Yep.
it goes in there as a box.
Yeah, it's just showing the area on the hat where the
Right.
logo is going to be at.
Is that box embroidered as part of it?
No, it's just framing the logo. That frame.
Okay, because I wasn't sure about that, but
yeah.
you found some incredibly good deal there.
Well, Captain Eddie did. All I did was go find it again and
Oh
and
yeah, that's a
something
great
close
price.
to it. So
That's a great
right.
price. Yeah, good job, Cap.
Yeah. Okay. This is the hat.
Yeah.
Crooked Eddie.
Okay.
And that's all embroidered.
Oh no, it's a sticker. It's on there. It's it's applique. Now that's the red with the artwork, and that's a white with the artwork.
So Eddie, how is the sticker, or is it like an iron-on stitch?
Yeah, it's an iron-on. I can't find it yet. I have a hard time with my nails picking up the edge of it. I can't really pop off the edge. I guess if I ran it through a washing machine or something, it might come up. But I've worn mine on the bicycle a couple of days. Well, I've had a week now, and I've worn it out in a light, misty rain and all, and it seems to be holding up. I'm all right. It's not comparable to a patch or embroidery work or screen print, but I'm overall, for what I paid and what I got, I'm fairly happy with what I found. We never quit shopping, but we don't have the resources to do anything else right now. So I went hunting, and that's what the hunt is got to develop. So I'm actually happy with that. I'm told by my wife that I can't continue to shop for and buy one and buy one and buy one.
Just wait a minute.
I am whipped. Today's my 34th wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Oh, congratulations!
Happy anniversary, Eddie.
Happy anniversary.
We went to lunch together today and had a very nice chat. Talked about things, got fussed at for the things of, I did really good by buying a $2,000 bicycle so I could go ride around and get away from the house when she's out taking care of her folks. But I still hadn't gotten that gift for her for Valentine's, because Mardi Gras was yesterday, and where we go shopping has been Mardi Gras Bill, and we hadn't gotten there. We're going to go there tomorrow, I believe. But it's been an interesting time around here. It's going to be 72 degrees tomorrow in New Orleans. I know some of you folks hate the weather, but now if y'all are really going along with me and you understand, she walked in the room, and now I would like you to say happy anniversary to my wife.
Happy
anniversary.
To the management.
Her name is Cindy, right?
Okay. Yes, the name is Cindy. She's right there.
I thought so. Happy anniversary, Cindy.
There she
There
is.
she is.
Happy anniversary,
Happy
Cindy.
anniversary,
Eddie
Thank
and Cindy.
you.
Thanks for
Management.
taking care of him for us.
Thank you.
Somebody's got to take care of me. I'm hopeless. But thank you all for doing that.
We're glad you got her.
Yeah. And today we were sitting at a little Chinese restaurant having lunch, and we were talking about Facebook and things we get from Facebook friends and notices. And because I said, do you recognize this name? Because y'all understand, it's my problem with the brain. I'm very puzzled by names and histories. And she said, yeah, we were talking about people that contact you on Facebook. And I said, today I got a picture from a guy. It was a picture of a mug a turned mug, coffee cup thing, and it was extremely heavy. In fact, it was massive. And you know, our deal here is I can look at something, or we can look at something that's a presenting gallery, and we have a no but guarantee. I can't tell you, I like that, but you know, it's ugly. Or you know, it's too thick or whatever. You know, we respect your art and the work you do. And I said, today I looked at this guy's piece and he said, I'd like to make one thin, but I'm afraid of it. So we chatted back and forth on Facebook a little bit. And I said, here's the challenge for you. Find a piece of nice wood that's seasoned, that's fairly dry. You don't want anything wet that'll warp move, or anything that's under stress. It's going to be moving a lot when you start relieving the stresses of hollowing it. And do a template and do one where you get the walls about 1/8 of an inch thick all the way down. I said, that's the challenge. I said, and that's the challenge, because you won't know how good you are until you make something that thin, that deep, and you do it as a straight line. What will you do it with? And coming back, he's using Harbor Freight tools. And I said, hey, no problem.
Just
You know,
sharpen.
Yeah. And I said, take that scraper, that thing they call a scraper that's in there, and we can modify it and burnish off one shoulder, and you can ride that shoulder, go straight down the side. I just got a note back from him. He played around with it, and he went 2.5 inches, straight as an arrow, 2.5. For me, for him, that's a major accomplishment. To me,
That's a win.
to me, I taught him how to go that deep. You can take that 2.5 and make it into 5.5 or 6 and come up with one. It was a hurdle that I jumped over when I did my first one, where it was thin enough where it would flex. Then I put it right over the stainless, and it was there. And then I perforated it and did some decoration on the inside on the stainless so you could see it. And then say, you know, you play with it. It's all what you can do. And that's what we do here. We come up with ideas. Last week I mentioned when we close it, it's Easter's coming up, what's it, 40-something days away? Because today's Ash Wednesday. I love that today on the news, all the people had a little ash on their foreheads showing off that, you know. But everybody was talking about rabbits. Joaquin, I think it was Joaquin Vincent, posted one on our Facebook page today of a rabbit.
Grinstead.
Yeah.
Bob Grinstead. Yeah.
Grinstead did it. And that's a cute little piece. Yes, rabbits are fun little projects. And remember, they ain't two little rabbits that ever look alike. So you can have so much fun with it. I'm just waiting to see what y'all come up with. It is because you'll get dangerous and give you these challenges. You'll come out of the corners with stuff. I mean, and then today when I got in, it was rather late when I finally got to download it, but I downloaded this month's for this week's edition, volume number 4 of Woodturners Worldwide. That's it right there. You see it? But catch that right there. You see that? Story by Rita Duxbury. Rita Duxbury. Which means we've moved up from Jim to Rita. We have. And it's a beautiful newsletter again this month.
Failure detector speaker. Please
You
make
have to
sure.
go to the speaker and
And-
turn it
and-
up. That's what I was
And then
trying
we've got
to.
a really nice article in here by Heather about box elder. Now, this is what we were looking for. That not just an article on box elder, but we have a member taking some time and putting some things together that benefits all of us. You know, I like turning box elder. We don't get a lot of it around here. And it was always a chosen piece. When you got it, you studied it for a while so you get the maximum out of the piece. But we get that kind of information for our newsletter and great art pieces. And remember, if you turn a gorgeous piece, do not keep it to yourself. Editor at worldwidewoodturners.org is where you want to send that photo. If it's 300 DPI, that starts per inch or whatever. It is good quality and it goes perfectly into our newsletter. And if you want to spread this around, this newsletter has got all the details. It is released. When I say released, it's got the information. Oh, it's in there. No, it's in there. That tells you that our newsletter can be distributed. I know it's in there. There it is, right there. Page right there. It says our newsletter can be distributed. So pass it along. Give it to all the club. Get your club roster. Send it to your club rosters. No advertisements, no commitments, no charge. It's really great. I like it. We had some requests today from stickers. Oh, the Duxbury's. I got your stickers in the mail today. But also got a request from Jim Soul, Sowell. I believe he's a fairly new member. He's out of Birmingham. Great town. And another one from Mark Callaghan. Callaghan out of Mandeville. That's across the way from me.
Hey, Captain,
Hey,
that was John Sal, Dr. John Sal there in Birmingham.
Sowell, Sal.
Yes, John.
Yeah.
John Sal.
All right. I recognize the name, but I got an order today for some stickers. We have those available for you folks. I got it to my last roll, which means we only have a couple of thousand left. And at $5 for I think I'm putting 10 or 12 in each envelope to get them out of here. I sent a bunch out to folks that have gone to demonstrations, and I'm looking for a main source for this thing they have up in Oregon. They got a little club having a group in Oregon later on this year. AAW. We'll get together. I'm looking for somebody that would like to grab a bundle of stickers and pass them out when they're up there. Well, we're not competition for them. Remember, we don't charge. We don't steal members. We just share. And so if you're interested, let me know. We can do something for you. And that's all we do is share. I love this. And it's getting along so good. Ruby, you came up today where we were talking about the people that do things and everything. It was quite a compliment, Ruby. It was that everything they do, you go, ooh, wow, ooh, ooh, ooh. And we were sitting in a little restaurant talking about things, and they had some decorations and all. And I said, Ruby's made that and something like that and something like that.
Try to connect it now.
I did something else.
Now,
on your
now
iPad.
I understand why my ears.
Should have been burning off like you won't believe.
Mute buttons for.
We had a lot of fun chatting about that kind of stuff and the things that people do. And every week we see one, not just from Ruby, but from all you folks. We see it. It's good to see. We lose track of some of our members, and sometimes they pop back in and say, "Look what I've been working on," and it really sets us back. I do miss some of the guys, and we know
USB.
family things popped in, and we lose them. And I don't have the contact to do it, but like Birdhouse Bob, I really wonder how Birdhouse Bob is doing. We know he lost his wife and a lot of his incentive, but hopefully he's bouncing back and getting along with it. It was good. It was good because we had members like Bob, and there's a handful more that just kept popping up with little things, little ideas, and little. He was the ornamentation guy. He with the embellishments that did pop up. And it's just little birdhouses, all the embellishments they do on the platters and stuff. Really good to see some of those. So if you got something coming up like that, you got something interesting, let us know. Show it to us in gallery, but send a photograph to editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. That's what we're building. We're building that, and it looks so good. And if you want to contribute an article, you have a piece you want to write about building a sled or a jig or a gizmo or a project or whatever, that's your newsletter, folks. That's where it's supposed to be. Go ahead and pen it. There are no restrictions. None at all. We want to see what you come up with. In fact, we'd like to be overloaded with what you come up with. So every month, every 2 weeks, we do this. Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we come up with something interesting that you can look at and say, wow, I wish I could share this with my buddies. And you can. It's not a secret. In fact, it says in there, please share this with everybody that you know that turns wood, and then some. Yes, and then some. It's really nice to do that. Hey, don't forget, March 13th is coming up. It's a couple of weeks away. And that's when we're going to do tips and tricks. And that's when we ask you to go to your brain cellar. Yes, your brain cellar. And find out those little ideas and little things you do in your shop that you think are kind of common to you, but we all might not think about or know about. And it's the things that save time, trouble, make things go easier, mark centers and find this and this and this. All those little tricks that you have in the back of your mind, all those little ideas you come up with, share them with us. Remember, share is what the thing is. We're all just sitting on a tailgate in the parking lot, sharing lies, stories, tips, tricks, showing our artwork, admiring each other's thoughtfulness and ideas. And we do a lot of good. We really do. This is a Wednesday night event that you're sitting with a bunch of friends. There's no competition. Nobody gets a ribbon. Nobody gets earns first place or anything like that. That's what it's all about. Heck, and it's not like the playground where everybody gets a ribbon when you go home. Okay, you want a ribbon? You got a ribbon. But we don't do that. I just like to see everybody compete or participate. Can we say that term? Participate. And if you got something to show tonight, go into gallery, go into chat right now and type in the chat, I have something to show. Those words, I have something to show. And then our gallery master, who's Dane, he handles his operation, but he's got some co-hosts to help him too. We keep an eye on everybody that comes in. I want to show something. I want to talk about this. I've got this. I've got that. The co-host or members who just want to be part of what's happening here, you can be part of those too. It's not restricted. There's no hierarchy, but we all get together and make this thing click each week. It clicks around a demonstration, normally happen at the 7 o'clock Central Time, but we have a good time the rest of the night. It's coming up on the top of the hour, 6 o'clock Central. We will do some gallery if you got something to show. All you have to do is say, me. And we'll go to you. You.
You.
And I see Heather popped in. Heather, that's a great article. Heather's just coming online tonight. Heather, that's a great article. I'm reading at it. Reading at it right now. Nice addition to our newsletter. Thank you so much. Want to see more? And like I said earlier, if you got something special from your shop, share it. If you can't draw it out or something, get some photographs. We can work with it. Remember, we're on a tailgate in the parking lot. What do you want? So we're going to go to gallery right now, Dane?
Yes, sir. Heck of a segue.
All
Let's
right.
see. Let's go to Mr. Slaughter. His internet's working for him tonight. Hey, Dale.
There he is.
Yep, I got that bowl I was trying to show you last week.
What happened to the edge?
It's been sculpted. Use some hand tools on it to sculpt it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I got a little
Now I see
tired
the sides.
doing plain bowls.
I don't blame you.
What is it?
It's maple.
Good job.
That
Very
is-
nice.
I got a cherry one I'm
Yeah,
doing
that's very
now.
nice.
I haven't got done yet. They take a lot of time.
Well, that's great.
All right. Well, thank you, Dale.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's go to Ruby.
No.
No, you got to go to Brenda first. You got to go to Brenda first.
Oh,
Pay
Band-Aids, Brenda
attention.
wanted to go first.
You snooze, you lose, Brenda.
Oh,
All right, there's my Valentine's ball.
boy.
Uh, It's a piece of walnut. I didn't expect to find an alien with the eyes inside.
Really pretty.
Nice. That's really nice, Rube.
Very nice.
Very nice, Ruby.
And then on the weekend, I had to do some demos, and the owner of the store had me teach 5 of his staff how to turn, so I had them doing pens. And of the bowls that I made on the weekend, this is the only one I have left. Because the lady came in and bought the other ones.
Wow.
So it's a piece of maple, and it had quite a bit of quilting in it that I didn't expect. It was just a board, literally, that I put a faceplate on and turned. And I undercut the edge a bit so that it hangs in your fingers quite nicely when you're carrying it.
I like the
Very
good
nice.
edge on it.
So,
Wait.
and that's it.
What kind of
Handy.
finish?
I hate this new update on
Actually,
Zoom
I
because
put
it keeps bouncing off of folks. I'm sorry about that. It's nothing on our end.
I put Mylan's finish on it to seal the wood, and then I used Superior Grit and Microfine Grit to finish sanding it, and then I used the Hampshire Sheen waxes as a finish, because any other finish would have taken longer to set, and I wanted it done while I was there. Well, it looked beautiful. They both look beautiful. Well,
Very
thank
nice,
you.
Ruby.
Hey, Ruby. Ruby, can I ask you a question? All of the finishes that you just mentioned, can you apply any of them without using friction?
Hmm?
Well, the Mylans, you can just rub it on by
Yeah.
hand and let it air dry. Anything else I mean, the 2 grits, you would have to apply a bit of friction because basically you're sanding with them.
Right.
And then you want to wipe them off. And then the 2 waxes, I mean, waxes have to be buffed.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want something that you're not going to have to buff, then you're going to have to look at like a spray on, like a polyurethane or a lacquer.
The question, the reason why I'm asking is, I mean, there's always a project that you can't get your fingers into places, so sanding that way is impossible. Or
Well, I sanded my fingers down so that they're tiny and they will fit into those places.
yeah. Good. I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah, if you put some detail, like texturing on the back or something like that, with a cloth, it's very hard to get the wax out of it. So what
Yeah.
I do is I use an old toothbrush, and as the piece is spinning, hit it with the toothbrush, and that'll take the waxes out of the
Cool.
out of the texturing.
Right. Yeah. 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 Right.
And if you put just a line in, that's how I keep all my fingernails trimmed short, because I just stick them in the line and it trims the fingernail and takes the wax out of the line.
Not joking because I do the same
In my
thing.
head.
Yeah, I do
that
too,
gets
but you
warm.
don't
You
want to
gotta be
leave it in there
careful.
very long. It'll burn.
Oh,
Yes, it
oh,
gets
you don't
hot.
want to press it. Well, you don't want to press it.
Yeah,
My
it'll burn.
my sculpted ball here, I used Yorkshire grit on it, but I used a buffing wheel on my Dremel
Mhm.
to get the friction and use it that way
That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Yeah, that's
to
a good
get
idea.
down into the sculpts.
I was talking about projects like it's way down deep in there and there's little twists and all the goofy stuff.
Well, quite often what you can do is you can wrap some cloth or something around the end of a stick, like a dowel, and stick that down there, and with a little bit of padding on it, you can use that. I've done that like on the inside of a goblet and things like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good question though,
Questions,
Al.
Al? Good question.
Well,
Good answers.
Dremel's got different size buffing wheels that sometimes you can get into nooks and crannies with.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dale.
All right. Thanks, Ruby. Thanks, Al.
Hey,
All right,
Dane,
let's go
before you
to,
pop in, Dane,
yeah.
before we pop into, let me make him, I did a little checking this week on our Zoom thing. Here's the deal with the latest version of Zoom. If a co-host interrupts, or pardon me, not interrupts, if a co-host interjects while somebody is on a lock-in or a screen grab or is in spotlight, the spotlight will disappear at that moment. So all you co-hosts, if you make a comment while somebody's on spotlight, you must re-spotlight them to get back to them again. Otherwise, it's wide open again.
Okay.
So the spotlight goes away. So that's what happens. It's not our fault. It's a change in the latest program. So if somebody's in spotlight and you like to say something to them, just remember you got to put them back on spotlight again. Co-hosts can do that if you interrupt their thing. So otherwise, it's wide open. So
Yeah.
let's
That explains it.
Well, thanks
But I-
for letting
but I-
us
but I
know that.
prefer-
I hadn't heard that.
yeah. It
Yeah,
took
'cause
a little
it's
while.
just been a pain.
It took a little while, and it happened when I was attending a seminar on Zoom that I heard it and sort of like in bypassing, and I went, whoa, I had to play the thing back to understand what happened. So that's
All
what
right.
we do. All right, back to gallery.
All right, sounds good. Thanks on that. All right, let's go with the cleanup hitter here.
She's the cleanup hitter.
The cleanup hitter.
Uh-oh.
Brenda, what's
Uh-uh.
shaking?
Not much. I've been turning this week. First of all, I got a couple of pieces that I made a couple weeks ago that I didn't show. This is my pepper shaker. Yeah, I'm not highlighted.
That's
Highlight it.
that's a nice shape.
Bring it closer.
How's that? See that?
There you go.
Can you
Yeah,
show
yeah.
us the top? Oh, that's great. And the bottom?
It's a kit.
Mhm.
No, you did a nice job of fitting them though.
Yeah, nice, Brenda.
I think this one
Well
was
done.
Elm. And I didn't make a match. So this is my salt shaker. There's the top. He's a little fatter. And this one's made out of box elder. See a little red in there.
Oh, they look good.
Yeah, they do.
Bottom.
Because they don't match, it makes it easier to know which one you're grabbing for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What kind of finish would you put on the inside?
Nothing. No finish.
Nothing. And actually the tubes, there's a tube that fits from the top to the bottom. And the plug plugs into the tube. These fit so tight that I didn't even have to glue them in there.
No, I wasn't talking about. I was talking about like the food that you're putting in it.
Well, the food that's in it is in the tube.
Oh, okay.
The brass, like not a brass tube, but a metal tube, I guess.
Yeah.
Aluminum.
I haven't seen a kit like that one.
Yeah. They're
But if you were to
State has-
if you were to do a regular, like a crush grind pepper mill or salt assembly, you wouldn't finish the inside, Al.
You wouldn't?
No.
No. Salt will cure the inside of the wood by itself anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
And the oils from the pepper will do as well from the peppercorns. So
Not only that, but wood is naturally antibiotic.
correct.
Hmm.
Thanks, Billy.
Okay. So
Would
then I
anybody
also
get-
made
I'm
some.
sorry. Would anybody get sick if you had put? I mean, I've
No.
finished the inside of a few and given them away.
No, nobody would.
Yeah.
After 30 days, it's totally food safe. So it's
Right,
safer
okay.
than Teflon that you're eating from the pan when you fry your eggs.
Right. Right. Yeah,
So,
you're right. Okay.
or the HDPE, from your spatula, or your bacteria-free cutting board, the little white HDPE, all that's more poisonous than any of the chemicals that we put on our wood to make it shiny or cure it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, can we let Brenda finish? I want to see what
All right.
else she made.
All right. I made
Go
another
get 'em, Ruby,
picture
go get
frame.
'em.
Check this one out.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey, somebody's playing with the
This one a
spiral
little
tool.
bit. And,
That's cool.
That looks nice, Brenda.
Very
really?
nice.
and then
Now,
I
did
used
you
the-
fill the texturing with something?
Yes, I filled the texturing with the,
Resin-crete?
yes, Resin-crete.
Okay.
And then sanded it down. Yep.
What did you color the resin-crete with?
The Resin-crete lacquer
col-
that the Resin-crete sells with the, or not with it, but separately from the Resin-crete.
Okay.
That looks quite effective.
Yeah, I was gonna, if you use the Dale, if you use the Dale stuff, because I couldn't remember the name of the product.
I was getting ready to say that stuff that Doug showed us.
Doug did, yeah. The Doug stuff.
Yeah. Do that. Okay, and then since I've been doing the picture frames, check this out.
Ooh,
There you go.
There,
Cool.
you
There
made
you
a
go,
mirror.
Brenda.
Is that a mirror? It is.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, look at that.
Good
Huh?
job.
Very
job.
nice.
Good job, Brenda.
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
am I ever,
how,
am I ever glad I went before Brenda?
wow.
What do you think of that mirror finish there, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's a proper
That's
mirror
really
finish.
That looks really nice.
I was gonna ask how many licks to the center.
Yeah, it looks like a lollipop, don't it? Yes. This one I did today.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Can you see this groove in here?
Yeah.
Put some Resin-crete in that. Put a little Resin-crete dot in that. And then on this side, I also put a little groove around it. I'm going to put some Resin-crete in that.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Now, how did you cut the mirrors?
Bottom.
Okay.
Already cut.
Yes. The picture frames, they take a 6-inch piece of, whoops.
Don't break it.
Yeah.
7 years bad luck.
Bad luck.
The picture frames take a 6-inch plexiglass. I bought these just already cut.
The reason why I asked is because we were all talking about you cutting that.
Yeah.
Weeks
And
ago,
the
but-
mirrors, I bought those. I think those was, I bought 40 of them for like 66 cents a piece.
Wow.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty.
What's the
I
size?
thought
What's
about
the
drilling
size
some
on
holes
them?
in the handle here and there or whatever too, and put some Resin-crete dots on them.
That's pretty.
So,
That's cool. That's a good idea.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
I didn't. The idea wasn't mine. I seen it. Somebody had them in their craft show on Facebook one time. So since I was doing the picture frames, basically the same thing.
No, they look great.
is the mirror?
Pretty.
What's that?
What size is the mirror?
A 5-inch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
Right on.
I need some help.
Good.
I am having trouble putting the handle and the mirror part together. Like matching and stuff,
Hmm.
This one's not too bad.
That's
That looks good.
If you make a like a spigot on the top end of the handle,
Tried that.
and you undercut it just a hair, it'll tend to sit against the round surface better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I tried to do. That didn't work too good.
Another idea might be using the Forstner bit in the frame. So it goes into the frame just a little bit, so the handle can actually go into the frame a little bit too.
Yeah.
Got a boss.
This
Or,
one's
or flatten
big.
the bottom of the frame just a little so that it sits
Yeah.
flat.
That too, yeah.
Flatten the frame. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
on
looks
that
like
one, I
you've
think
got,
your handle is a little bit too big at the
Yeah,
top. and
this
that's
one
why
is.
it
This
protrudes.
one is, yes.
It
And
looks
then
like you've got a
was my
groove on the side
prototype.
of one of them, Brenda.
What's that?
Looks like you've got a groove in the side of one of them.
This one?
On the,
Pretty groovy.
yeah, on the, maybe both of them.
Yeah.
But if you've got a groove in the
groove
side,
this.
it's not gonna match up real well either.
Didn't match. And what I did was this one, I put a more tenon on the handle, stuck it into the mirror. It was too tight. When I twisted it on, I broke it off. So I had to drill a hole in both of them then, and used a dowel rod and then glued them together.
So the other thing you can do, Brenda, is make them flat on the end. Do just like you did there with with a dowel rod. Take a round file and file the top of your handle so it's got a little arc in it with a round file,
Okay.
and then it'll match
I
up
bought
to
one
your
of those the
round
other
mirror.
day.
Yeah, it's just a little finesse that you got to do on it. That's all.
Yep.
Right.
You're almost
Yeah.
there on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm getting there.
Or
And-
even if, like Ruby said, you undercut it a little, take and glue some sandpaper to a dowel and sand it till it matches the curve of the
Right.
mirror frame. Or flatten it off. I would flatten it off just slightly, just because it would be easier.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that would, and it would, I could, with
Yeah,
this
sanding a
being
little
flat,
flat
I
on it
could
would
put
be a
it
lot
through
easier.
My bandsaw.
But she's having
Yeah.
to drill into the frame of that mirror anyway. The easiest thing to do would be take a 3/4 Forstner bit or a 1/2 inch Forstner bit and drill in maybe an 1/8 of an inch, and then back out, and you'd have the point center to drill your 3/8 or 1/2 inch tendon that you're going to glue in there. And then it just socket into the socket.
Yeah, you could make a socket in the frame and then make your handle go into the frame instead of sitting tight against it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I was saying.
Oh, make the hole in here this big.
Yep,
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
correct.
Oh,
But
yeah.
just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
you know, no more than 3/16 of an inch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Just,
have to go
just
far.
enough to just
And-
enough to transition the handle into the frame.
Yep.
Right, yeah. Well, see,
Well,
that's
see,
why, you
Strange,
see how
sounds like I
made
just
the glue
said that a
in
while
here?
back.
That's what I was
Yeah.
hoping to do with this one, but that didn't work out to either.
and if you got a groove in it like that, then it'll disappear into that.
Yeah.
The handle will disappear
Right.
into the frame and make the groove look like it's part of the handle, or it's cut that way.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to do, but that didn't work.
It's a boss.
But you know what I also realized while I was doing this, when I was cutting the dowel rods, right? I noticed a paintbrush in the trash can, right? The little foam
Oh.
paintbrushes with the wooden handle.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there's a dowel rod right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Or your foam brushes, the foam brushes that you use in your shop and you throw away. Yeah, there's your. I keep all them for dowels.
Well, I just thought of that today. So, yeah.
Better
So
late
keep
than-
the paintbrushes, cut that foam off of her, and get you some dowel rods that way. Then,
Yeah, a bag of them's cheaper than buying a dowel rod.
heck yeah,
Hey, sure is.
yeah.
But
I
you
know
can
what-
turn them out of your scrap pieces of wood. Why buy dowel when you can turn it
Well,
on the?
Well,
as
that's
well.
that was what I was going to do first, but I realized that the canes at the fair,
Mhm.
the little stick canes
Nope.
Yep.
at the fairgrounds, during the fair, you do the ring toss and get the canes. That's what I used. I cut one of them things down. That was what the dowel rod was. In perfect 3/8 inch. So
You could also, an idea is to make it a double mirror where you have the regular mirror on one side and the magnified type of mirror on the other side. My wife loves that, hers, so.
right. Yeah,
I'm
my
a-
daughter suggested making one with on a stand.
Right,
Mhm.
That,
And you
like
got your
this
pivot
and
points,
turn.
and you got
Like
your
that.
little brass. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next challenge.
I like the idea of the little hand mirror, but oh well. I got 40 mirrors, so I got to make a whole bunch.
There's a market for them.
Your
There
corner
sure
of the
is.
market.
There is.
if you want to see the back of your hair and how it looks, guys don't care. But if you want to do that, then the hand mirror is the way to go.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
like
When I had long hair, I used the side mirror. Yep.
Yeah.
can't find my head.
I used to cut my own hair doing that.
Oh my goodness.
So did I. Now I just use the Flowbee.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
cut my own hair.
Keep,
Yeah.
just let it keep
I
growing,
do
guys.
too.
Let it keep growing.
Right. All right.
All right.
Brenda, thanks. That was great.
Hey,
Good job on
can't
that.
really overrate it.
All right, let's go to Dave. What's up, Mr. Kingsley?
Well, I finally got in the shop and made a couple. This is
Ready?
cherry,
Nice.
and this one is maple.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Not
they're
not
both
exactly
pretty, but
great
wow.
works of art, but good utilitarian little bowls.
Yes.
Super.
And
Yeah.
all that's on them is axe paste. I didn't use any
Mhm.
wax or anything else. It's just polished with the paste.
Nice
Nice.
tooling then.
Very nice, Dave.
Yeah, it is.
Well, somebody dropped off about 40 feet of cherry, and I
Ooh.
have to find room in my shop to get it in there. Which means some of these rough turn bowls, I've gotta get them going so that I can have room to put some other rough turn bowls.
It's a shame to have too much.
That is a shame. If you were closer, I'd help you out with it.
Yeah, well, anybody who's in the west, anywhere near Western New York, if you'd like some, it's in my front yard. Help yourself.
Well, if it were springtime instead of February, of course, we haven't got much snow right now. I'm half tempted to come get some.
Well,
I'm only about 3 hours from you, Dave.
well, yeah, it's there,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna live long enough to use it all, so. I still have a whole bunch of walnut that I have to cut up too, so.
Don't say those things.
Don't say
Yeah,
those
don't
things,
say that.
Dave.
Yeah.
Well, I've got probably 20 years worth of wood out there with the shop time I get, because right now I'm, maybe 2 hours in the morning a day, and that's it, so.
Learn faster.
Well, I thought of that. I see these guys that, oh, I can turn a bowl in 20 minutes. I said, why? It takes all the fun out of it.
That's right. It's not a race.
I do it because I love it, not because I want to get done.
Amen,
Yeah.
brother.
Yep.
I can't do anything in 20 minutes.
Neither can
Well,
Dude,
I've
I can't even
seen-
get ready. I can't even get ready in 20 minutes.
You got it. You got it.
But that's it for this week, which is a big week for me, 2 bowls. So,
Those are nice.
Oh, that's-
Very nice.
thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
good
job,
luck.
Dave. All right, let's go to. Gotta get down to the H's. Johnson. Hey, Howard. You're muted, buddy.
Howard's talking. We don't hear you, Howard.
You're muted.
There we go.
There you are.
Right.
Hey, okay. Greetings to wood turners everywhere. I turned a bowl this week.
Sweet.
Nice. Laser
Beautiful.
This and the on the middles are laser.
Yeah, I'd say
on the
you turned
edges
a bowl.
laser.
Did you make a funnel first?
Did I do what?
Did you make a funnel?
No.
No. Okay.
No. No, it's this stuff here is lasered, but this stuff is carved.
Oh my
There we
goodness.
go.
Oh,
All
my
right.
God.
Okay.
Wow, look at that.
My
That's,
God.
Good, Howard.
That's a basket weave that I was wanting
Yeah.
to try, and I
Very nice.
finally did it. It took me a while, but it turned out okay, I think.
I
Oh,
think so too. I think so too.
It's this
Yeah, that's very
this
nice,
is
Howard.
ash, so it didn't carve real well. I mean, it's real hard, so it didn't carve real fast. So, but anyway, I finally got it done just today to show you guys.
oh, beautiful.
Great
You did
job,
a good
Howard.
job on it.
Yeah, I'm used both alcohol based and water based dyes, and then put that's clear gloss enamel. on the inside
Gotcha.
and on the back.
That's
So-
beautiful.
Very nice
Very
job.
much. Thank you very much. So anyway,
Good looking.
that's
good
that's
looking.
all I had time to do this week.
I guess so.
All right.
Beautiful.
Very
though.
good, Howard.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Mr. Burt. Hey, Billy.
Oh. Hey, everybody. I got a little something. Sue's gonna be mad at me. So
What?
sorry, Sue. I did some fractal burning,
Mm,
That's cool.
Well,
but I cheated. Sue, I cheated. I didn't use electricity. I used my laser.
well, then that doesn't.
really?
Now that's
Gorgeous.
using your head.
So I lasered. I found a picture of just an image online of some fractal burning, and I imported it into my laser, and that's what I did. It's two pieces of 3/4 inch oak glued together, just basically proof of concept piece. Finished with 3 coats of Deft gloss, and at the bottom, a little OG. I could have made this a little bit smaller in retrospect, but it is what it is. And I dyed it with 3 colors of RIT dye. I started out with red, then I went to a really dark navy blue, and then I added purple, and then went back with red. So I wanted to, one of the reasons I dyed it was because these 2 pieces of oak, one of them had a real pink hue and the other one was really tan and or a light brown, and I wanted to marry them a little bit better. But so concept proven, you can do fractal burning without the danger of the electricity.
Absolutely.
What kind of software do you got to use for your laser?
What kind of who?
Software. What do you use to import that into in order to engrave it?
Lightburn.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, that'll
And logo in the bottom as always. Now I posted pictures of these while they were in the works on our web page. I mean, on our Facebook page, several weeks or a week or so ago. But I haven't shown you the end result. And so I did a thing. This is stainless steel rod. This is my stock Powermatic 3520B tool rest. And I JB welded that stainless steel rod on, and let me tell you, wow. It did do that is a game changer, folks.
What diameter of rod did you use?
1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
Yep. 1/4 inch stainless steel rod. I picked up a 6-foot piece for, I don't know, probably $5-10. And I liked it so well, I did the same thing for the stock tool rest for my 2014.
Good
And
deal.
I also did the 6-inch angle iron oak piece that I use on my 3520B a lot. And it's, I just right on top of the angle iron, kind of straddle the wood and the angle iron, and JB welded it on, and it works like a dream.
Good, good, good. Did you do a flat spot on the top?
You mean where I glued it together?
Yeah,
Or up here?
No, on the
There's no
tool
flat
rest
spot up
itself.
here.
Okay.
Oh, on the tool rest. Yeah, I used my file on all 3 pieces, and I made sure they were all dead flat. Took them over to the table saw and stuck them down and filed them until I couldn't see light anymore. And it didn't take long.
No,
because they
perfect.
weren't in bad shape. But yeah, oh man, game changer.
Game
I'm telling you.
changer. Yeah, it is. You never go back after you start turning on top of solid rod.
I won't.
And for a lot of folks, you don't even have to go and buy a 1/4 inch steel rod. Many people have vent mandrels or pin mandrels in your toolbox that you don't use.
True.
That's the perfect use for a pin mandrel because it's not for turning pins, in my opinion.
I agree with you. The only way I would use a pin mandrel is if I was,
Yeah. Right. Me too.
The only way I would use a pin mandrel is if I had a mandrel saver. Without a mandrel saver, I don't care what you do, you're going to get bow and flex. Even with a mandrel saver, if you're turning two tubes at once, you're still going to get flex. And the only way I know of to truly get
Concentric.
true centric, otherwise they're going to be eccentric. The only way to get true centric turning and is one tube at a time between centers. That's the only way I've found.
Dead on from a dead center and a dead live center.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the only. And I did a demo on that about a year ago.
Yes.
That's on our website.
Showing how to turn a pin blank even without the brass in.
Oh yeah. I started turning between centers. I started doing my pins between centers. 18 years ago.
Wow.
Oh wow. I hadn't started turning yet, but yeah, good info. Thanks, Billy.
Billy, before you pop out, how's the wife? Oh, she's good. She gave me quite a scare last Thursday night, but she's good. They cathed her and put a stent in. She had a pretty good blockage in the in her right coronary artery.
Oh.
It caused her to, and she basically, we were sitting here, we just finished dinner. She was still sitting at the table on her phone. And I was over here in my chair and she said, honey, something's wrong with me. And I said, what do you mean something's wrong with you? She said, something's wrong with me. So I got up and went in there to check on her. And I said, what's wrong with you? No response. She was staring into nothingness. And I asked her 4, 5, 6 times over a period of, 30, 60 seconds, honey, what's wrong with you? I couldn't get an answer. And finally I said, honey, can you hear me? And she mumbled something. And I said, can you hear me? Can you move your hands? She raised both hands up. So that told me it wasn't a stroke. Her face wasn't droopy, but still I'm scared to death. And I said, all right, I need to take you to the ER. So they admitted her. Turned out she had, the last test they ran was a CAT scan on her heart. Did 2 days worth of tests, Saturday and Sunday. And they did the stent on Sunday. 2 days worth of tests, Friday and Saturday. And they put the stent in Sunday morning and brought her home Monday morning, and Monday afternoon, and she's doing great. She's going back to work tomorrow.
Good. Good nurse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great,
Great, Doc.
great, Billy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the update on that, Billy. And
Thank you. Yeah, no, she's
God
going to be
bless you
fine.
guys.
I don't ever want to be scared like that again.
I
can relate
I
to
under-
that.
Completely.
Hang in there, Billy.
All right, let's go to Mr. Dawson. What you got, Al?
Yeah.
You're muted. You're muted, Al.
He knows.
So,
There you go.
something came across the screen and it was in blue letters. I didn't know. I've never saw that before. Anyway, it's Valentine's Day, and like everybody went and turned a little.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Sweet.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, I
Al.
remember seeing that.
Those are fun.
Quite a few things this week.
Oh, that's nice, Al.
But a lot of things didn't seem to make it. There's
Wow.
It's that.
Oh, look at that.
2 little lovebirds.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute.
Cute.
That's great, Al.
Cute. Very
That's
nice.
cute.
Good job.
Very
Good
nice.
job.
Very
Like I
creative.
said, I'm busy all week, but don't have a whole lot to show for it. But a lot of stuff just didn't make it. I've been turning a few pens. Here's a slim line.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I like the shape of that.
Yeah. That's peach on the bottom and maple on the top.
Okay.
Very
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Good.
like I said, there's a lot of activity, but not a whole lot to show for it this week. But anyway,
Well,
everybody
the
have a nice
activity is
day.
the important part.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got something to do. There's something out this week. I was able to get this one out with as much stuff going on.
Right.
It's crazy.
All
It
right.
really is.
Let's
You
go
didn't end up
to,
with Band-Aids though, did you, Albert?
No, no.
Well, then
No,
good
I'll tell
job.
you what. Yeah, some of the stuff you can be pretty close. It was like, like that's some of the questions. There's some things if you want to turn, don't want to turn. That's why I asked Ruby that question. Can you do stuff with those products without the friction? But
Hmm.
dude,
Nice job.
take a chance. Don't take
Right
a
on.
chance.
You did
Good job on
a
that,
lovely
Al.
job.
all right, let's go to our master editor. Hey, Joaquin.
Hey.
Howdy. So I started Saturday by making some mini skews, box elder, and you got to be careful with these or you'll end up with a Band-Aid. But I made the mini skews so that I could practice Steve's ball and socket.
Oh, wow.
So there's
That is cool, JJ.
wait. Can you hear
There
the
you
pop?
go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's three
Wow.
phalanges and a metacarpal, and that's a first finger. It's a little bit big, but I'm still perfecting the technique for the ball and socket. So this, I didn't even sand this. This is just playing with learning to turn the ball and socket. So
You
that
did
was
a
what I
great
did
job.
yesterday, was a finger. And somebody said, "Oh, you should turn a whole arm, a whole skeleton." And
Yeah.
well, that challenge has been laid down. It might take me years, but I'm gonna try. But I had to put the newsletter to work today. So I made a Rita Duxbury heart dish.
Sweet, sweet.
And
Very
that's
nice.
just
That
a
is
cast off
Look at that.
coaster from another woodworker shop. He gave me a pile of these and it was perfect. So
Fantastic.
I had fun.
Very
I
nice.
just had fun making
Joaquin.
that. So
Good job,
that was
Joaquin.
my Valentine's Day.
Very
That's
good.
nice.
So that was great. What's the newsletter? And we had that great little tutorial from Rita, and it's already been one up, but in the next newsletter.
Yeah.
And I have another tutorial for the newsletter after that. So keep them coming. Keep
And you'll have
pictures
one,
and
and you'll have
stuff
another
coming.
one after that.
Great.
Yep.
Keep it coming. I'll lay them out 6 months in advance if we keep that newsletter filled.
Right. Yeah, I'm almost done with my process to send off to
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. And you know what? Right now we're right between 6 and 8 pages. If I get that much information and that many photos and that much 2 or 3 tutorials, the sky's the limit. I mean,
Right.
how many pages do you want? We can do it.
There's nothing to cry about.
No, not at all. So
Yeah,
keep,
doing a
please
good
keep
job.
those images coming.
Super
Right.
job.
Very nice. Very
Mhm.
good.
Are we
And
going to
it's
get to the
also the key to
Worldwide
share it.
Woodturners? Are we going to get to the Worldwide Woodturners magazine?
That's my goal.
Eventually,
It's,
right? Quiet, don't tell anyone.
we're supposed to say that so soon.
We're gonna have a,
There's only 100 people here, so
Right.
Yeah. Everybody
We're gonna have-
hush. That's
we're
secret.
gonna have a centerfold. Oh,
well, we could,
Jim,
willing
Jim
to
like
pose.
Burt Reynolds.
There
on
we
the-
go.
on the
There's
table
100.
saw.
Now we got
Listen.
100 on.
I have plenty of
Right.
outfits to pose
Wow.
for the centerfold. I've got you
Oh
covered.
my God.
Oh,
No,
right.
no, no,
Doug,
no,
that's
no,
right.
no,
Doug
no,
will
no,
be our
no.
Yep,
centerfold.
that's right. There's our
You
first
have to be
centerfold
careful
right
what you
there.
say. You have to be careful what you say, like about that stuff. I mean, Doug hears everything. I mean, it's
Hey,
He's
hey,
gonna
hey,
remember it too.
Joaquin, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
When you were making the finger,
Uh-huh.
was it easier to start the male part or the female part? I mean, what?
So I sat and thought about that for hours. And what I came up with is if you turn it, so this is the end, and this kind of looks like it's got 2 balls, but the ball is here. So if you turn it from the end down and then turn the ball and part it off, you're ready to drill to make the socket on the next one, and you can just run them down the line. So you turn the ball end first, drill the next socket, fit that, turn your little piece, turn the next ball, and I literally turn them one segment at a time from the tip of the finger down to the base.
Hmm.
And this is practice for a project that an art project that I'm getting ready to start, that is not going to look like bones, but it's going to have ball and socket.
Jay, what'd you use on the inside of the socket?
A little Steve
Oh,
Twidell.
you just used your mini skew to make the
drilled 5/16 and then just cleared it out a little bit with mini skew. It fits.
Gotcha.
It
So
fits
all-
just perfect, just right in there. You get,
Cool.
you know, if you have a hiccup or you sneeze, you're going to ruin your socket. So breathe.
So
Pretty amazing.
how were you holding those? I mean, obviously a bigger piece of
So this was a pen blank. It was a 3/4 by 3/4 pen blank and pin jaws. And I just worked my way down.
Okay. All right. Okay. Very nice. Hey, thanks. Thank you.
Are all the balls and sockets the same size?
No, absolutely not. So there's the first one, and actually
your finger gets bigger.
They're similar. They're similar, but like as it gets bigger and wider down to the bottom, so I made the socket bigger and wider.
Right.
And honestly, the first one is probably the best joint. The second one is okay. The third one, I actually cracked the metacarpal. I cracked it, and this is actually the second one I turned. So by the time I got to the third one, I don't know if I was getting tired or what, but I was doing worse than I did up here at the tip where I was working smaller. Maybe it was because they were getting progressively bigger.
Like they were getting closer.
I
to
wasn't
the
paying as
chuck.
close of attention.
Yeah.
So you got to really, and let me tell you what, there is no real estate on a 1/4-inch skew chisel. You really have to pay attention using this little tool. It's real easy to under rotate and catch if you're doing a ball because there's just not a lot of blade there. There's no forgiveness with a skew this tiny. None.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Joaquin.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Mr. George. Hey, Dave. We got you now.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
What you got?
Well, been traveling a little bit, but been spending time in the shop and making some. Let me see if I get this here right. I made some salad bowls out of cherry. Just more of a functional utilitarian. Put some Howard cutting block oil on it. So I made about 4 of these, and then I had a piece of crab apple out in my backyard that
That's pretty.
I was turning, and but it was compromised a little bit, so I used resin, was a Lumelite, I think it is, with some pigment powder in it, and actually it came out. I like how it came out.
Very nice. I love the color variation in that piece.
And then I have some juniper, or what we call around here Eastern red cedar, and I've turned this one here.
Oh,
This is unfinished. And because I'm waiting for the process from Dane because I'm fighting with the that whole process. I think I'm short circuiting it. So I'll show you in a minute why I say that. So I'm waiting on this one here till I see the newsletter on that one, because my wife Trish, she loves this little bowl. She loves the way it's shaped, and I have to agree with her on that. So I want to make sure
it looks lovely.
Gorgeous with a beautiful shine
nice.
on.
Nice. The other one out of that same tree is right here, and I left it a little bigger, and for it had the oh geez, can't even do it here. Inclusion on it, and what have you, but it also had, where am I at here? On the edge, it had a limb kind of coming out of it, and so I didn't want to lose that. So I
Right.
left it thicker. And so then I actually did the same resin type deal on this one here. And but this here has the Minwax polymerized tongue oil on it, and it's okay. But when I look at what you do, Dane, on yours, you have no flaws in it at all, and so I
I'll get it done.
I
and
need
get
to
it- I'll
learn.
get it done and get it out step by step. So
No, I know you will. I just, and I'm patient on that. But anyway, so I like this one here. In fact, there's my neighbor, he came in before he's even finished and started peeling off $20 bills at me. He says, I want to buy it. So this one's sold already, which is
awesome.
which is good.
Congrats.
Good deal.
That's very nice.
Gotta
And
like
then-
that.
And then
Right?
I made what
Aw.
like an acorn.
Yeah.
And so
And it looks like an acorn.
well, thank you. The
Yes.
bottom is spalted, and there's hardly not much spalt on it, but it's cottonwood out of a tree in my backyard. The top part is I had some those plaques you get from businesses, saying you're a good person and all that kind of stuff, and 25 years of whatever. I had a bunch of those plaques, and so I just laminated one and see what I could get out of it, and that's what I made for the lid on it. And of course, in here, it was like not asphalting, but almost rotting away. So I couldn't get a clean cut in the bottom. So there's a lot of little pits in it. So I just took some pigment powder and just made an orange color on it. And anyway, made an acorn.
Yeah. Looks good.
And
Super
then,
good.
One more here. I made, I guess
Oh,
you
that's
call it
Oh,
pet urn.
Super.
Ooh,
Cool
screw
shape too.
Yeah.
Very
oh,
nice.
very nice.
Well
Very nice.
done.
And
Looks beautiful.
I really, it turned out better. I didn't know what I was doing, quite frankly. I was kind of, making it up as I went, and I watched a couple videos, but it actually turned out pretty nice. I really liked it.
Sure did.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Anyway, and this one here is this one and the acorn. I have the spray lacquer, Watco spray lacquer on these.
Love that
And the
shape.
others are the Minwax tongue oil. Anyway,
You've
that's all
really
I
been
have.
busy.
They all
I
look
learned-
great.
Thank you. I learned a lot off here, and I always like getting the comments and everything because, like I say, that's how we learn as we keep moving
Yes.
on.
Amen. Well said.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Dave. From Dave, we're going to go to Mr. Miller. Doug.
Hey
You're up,
guys, how
buddy.
is everybody? It is good to be with you all. Couple of things. Needed to do a practice piece for my demo the other day, and Saturday I came in the shop and took a piece of Dave's cedar and knocked this one out. No jigs were used in the process. This was just freehand and by eye, and it came out quite nice. Like a lot of cedar, it had a limb inclusion there that had broken out. So I was hoping that would turn away, but it didn't. So it just makes a place for it to sit. Yeah,
Yeah,
speaking
but
of
Doug,
sitting,
you gotta tell them how you did it. That was
Well,
the neat part.
I'll get to that in a second. To go with this, it's got to sit on something. So turned a little stand. That's simple piece of poplar. I've got plenty of poplar sitting around because I've got a big poplar tree in the yard and it drops limbs all the time. But turned it, dyed it black, sanded off, put some green on it, and then just some abrasive paste and wax, and so it sits on the shelf kind of like that. Just something for it to sit on. Of course,
That's really
when
cool, Doug.
when you're turning those, after you turn it the first time and get round, you've got two big nubs on the end, and you got to hold it the round side. So I grabbed another piece of poplar. That's my drive center or drive cup that it goes in my chuck like that. And then I've got another one. Used the soft touch method. Turned a piece, tapped it or drilled it, tapped it, put it on my live center, and it works great. So that gets me to yesterday when for my live demo, I needed to turn another one. So we have a nice walnut. I thought it was a
Wow.
piece of cherry, but it's walnut. And what Ruby was referring to, here I've got a box here I can show you. I started, get that where it won't roll away. Started with a cube of that walnut, and in my, take the chuck off, got the spindle only. I stuck the corner in the spindle, brought my live center up, put the point in that corner. Let me bring my camera down just a hair and you can see what I'm talking about. Put my live center right there. So I started on the bias, and I had seen another turner do that, turn a sphere that way, changed the whole thing for me. Like Billy was talking about the game changer with the rod on top of his tool rest. Seeing that process of starting with a cube on the bias to turn a sphere changed the whole thing for me. And I was able to turn that right about an hour plus some sanding time. I did go back. It had some cracks included in it that I filled. So a little over an hour to finish it up. And these are just both of these are just simply finished with some yeah, some Howard's feeding wax. That's what it is. Just some oil, basically, just to give it something so it's not just flat wood. Gives it some life. And so that's what I did between the two spheres and the two cup centers. That was 2 days, and I'm still exhausted. So anyway, that walnut that was fun. I did my wife that walnut bowl last week. She loves it. I took this in and showed it to her last night, and she said, "Oh, is that for me too?" I said, "You know, if you want it with your bowl." So it looks real good sitting in her bowl. You can just, if you're looking from the side, you just barely see the top of the ball. But anyway, it came out pretty well. It's not perfect, but that's all. Like I said, it's all by eye and just watching it. You know, you start seeing it form from that cube into the ball, and then it starts really showing itself. And then when you start turning it in the cup centers, you can really see the ghost image, and it's a lot of fun to do.
Great job.
I
Doug.
would think that also allowed the you to use more of the wood from the cube too, going from corner to corner, like you were saying.
Yeah. I started off with a 5 1/4 inch cube, and this is right at 4 1/4, maybe 4 1/2. So I
Nice.
didn't have a whole lot of waste at all.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Great job. Thanks, Doug.
Oh, and I
Alright,
do,
let's-
Dane, and Joaquin, I do plan on writing that up. So we'll have that
Oh,
coming.
okay. Yeah, that'd be good. And if you could include stage picture processes.
Yeah.
Do it like and do the photos like in a collage.
Absolutely.
One photo, but you got 4, no more than 4 steps, 4
Right.
pics in the collage. That'd work great. So
Yeah. That'll work.
right on. Thank you.
Nice
Yes,
nice
sir.
job, Doug.
Professor.
Oh
Hey,
my,
Doug.
Hey, how's everybody going? All right,
Or-
so
March centerfold.
there we go.
Oh,
All right, so today's a pretty famous holiday. I don't know how many of you are tracking that, but right here on my shirt, State 48, 112 years today, Arizona. Happy birthday, Arizona Statehood Day. I guess it's Valentine's Day too, but it's Arizona Statehood Day. So
I guess you learned that if you went to school here, huh?
yeah. You know, those of
Okay,
you
yeah,
that are
I
not from
didn't
Arizona,
know that.
if you're not from
I didn't know
Arizona, listen, I can't really fix that for you, but you are allowed to visit. Just don't move here. We have enough people. Just tease it.
Yeah, amen,
All
right?
So, all right, this first piece that I'm gonna share, I'm gonna give a warning to Doug Miller and Dane Chandler. They may need to look away because it's gonna bring back bad flashbacks for them. And that's because I turned this incorrectly on live on Facebook. And
and I missed it.
no, you made comments. You saw me do it wrong.
Oh, okay.
And
yes, that's right. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
So I have made these before. I know how to make these before, and it is the same concept as making a goblet, right? It is the same concept. You hollow out your first bowl, you throw your tennis ball in there, or whatever you're going to do to keep things all nice and sturdy. I don't know what I'm thinking. This thing's on the lathe, and I go and turn the bottom bowl first. I'm not even thinking. I know enough to leave this thick so I don't snap them as I'm going. And I'm somewhere around the second bowl when I realize this ain't gonna work. This is gonna break. And then I stop to look at the comments, and there's Doug saying, I don't think you're supposed to do that one first. And Dave's like, he's not doing it that way, is he? Well, I did. And I'll tell you what it did do. It made me use my tools absolutely correctly up here and very sharp. And they were the most gentle cuts. So I didn't break it. But then it went back on me anyway. So, oh well.
Good job, Doug.
I was yelling at the screen. Look up, look up.
Crazy piece. Oh,
I
that
know.
is
I was saying, read the damn comments.
Now that one
And
came
when
out
I did,
beautiful.
I'm laughing so hard because I realized what I did. And only wood turners know I'm doing it wrong. Everybody else was there. I don't know. Looks cool. There's things flying around.
What are these guys talking about?
Oh my man! I felt dumb. I was just like, so anyway,
Is
we'll
that
call
second
that
one
the-
desert ironwood, Doug?
So this one's made out of ash, just Arizona ash. It grows everywhere in our state. And I had a neighbor need one to come down in his yard a while back. So it was green. I kind of expected it was probably going to crack on me. And, I'll probably fill it in and still save it anyway. So then I made this one. This one I did turn correctly, top to bottom. And I did that one live on TikTok. This one's a little bit that I had left of that Texas ebony. It's also still really green. So I was fighting a lot of cracks in that one. The middle bowl turned out the nicest. And then lo and behold, today I looked at it and I went, oh, you son of a gun. But hey, that's the gamble you take when you turn green wood. It's fun. You get cool ribbons and it's easy to slice, but then sometimes it cracks on you.
But that's the nature of Texas ebony too. So
yeah. So, so that's what I did over our little few days we had off for snow. I called it winter break 2.0. And then Ruby was talking about putting sandpaper on a dowel. So if anybody didn't understand what she was talking about, I just happened to have one here.
There you
go. This is actually a tip I learned off of Worldwide Wood Turners. You guys might have heard of that club. But somebody, and I can't even remember who it was in the club that recommended, said, hey, why don't you take some of your dealy wheelies there off your sander and put them on there? And so I jokingly said, hey, I could just put that on my finger, put my finger in there, and people lost their mind. It's a joke. You don't.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a couple years ago.
But that's about all I got for everybody this week.
Yeah, we had when you were doing that, it turned into a whole segment of you, me, Cade, several others just doing goofy stuff. And yeah, everybody lost their darn mind.
Yeah. Our sarcasm got out of control that night, I guess.
Right.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
all
happy
good.
Arizona Statehood Day to everybody. If you celebrate, happy Valentine's Day. I can't stay on the whole meeting because, well, I got a wife in there that I got to go celebrate Arizona Statehood Day with.
Okay.
Or maybe Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll say that to the wife tonight when I come in. Happy State Day.
Right on. 112 years. 112 years.
Thanks for the reminder, Doug. Thanks.
Hey, you guys all have a good one.
Hey, Doug.
All right, bye-bye.
Doug, I don't know if it's because I'm on my phone, but when I looked at that, at the bottom of the bowl on the bench, go back to your stack of 3 balls.
This one or that one?
That one.
This
when
one,
you,
okay.
When you first showed that, it was next to that hole in your bench. And I was really quite interested because it looked like you'd filled it up with chocolate and the chocolate had run out the bottom of the bowl.
I noticed the same
I saw
thing.
that too.
Yeah.
Then you went off and you upset me because you told me that you turned it out of Texas ebony. Well,
Yeah,
Texas
yeah. No, no
ebony,
chocolate in
guys,
there. Not yet,
yeah,
anyway.
it's like gold dust over here, and that is so upsetting to see that you guys have this stuff as big as that and as nice as that.
So in my state, actually, Texas ebony isn't real common over here.
Yeah.
But this
Thanks
happened
for
to be
that,
a
Doug.
family friend down in Phoenix who had actually planted that tree as a little sapling and grew it for a little over 20 years. And then he was doing some remodeling at his house, and the tree had to go, and it broke his heart. And so he cut it down. And he asked me if I wanted it. So there's only one answer: yes. And
Right. Frog had wings
so
bumping his ass across the ground.
what he asked for was for me to just cut a disc off of it so he could see all the rings from the fattest part of the tree. So I'm like, okay, that's easy. But I also made him a really nice goblet out of it, and I made him a little bird's mouth bowl out of it. And so he was super happy. And so I had this chunk left, and I have one other piece about this same size, maybe a little taller left, but I'm going to let it dry out.
We're very jealous. We are very jealous.
And just for the record, I didn't make this hole when I bought this bench used. It was already there. I don't know what its purpose was, but it works great to push all the sawdust into. And then I don't know where it goes. Maybe it winds up in this drawer. I don't know.
It certainly looked like the chocolate was running out the bottom of your bowl.
Yeah.
I thought so too, yeah.
Yeah, like a fondue
That's
set.
funny.
If you'd have turned the center one a little thinner, would it still cracked? I haven't used Texas ebony.
I don't know. Like I
We
said,
don't have the money to
I've only
use
turned a few
Texas
pieces
ebony.
out of it. So, but it's an interesting wood to turn. I remember Joaquin, our Texas Joaquin on here, he had told me when I got it, he said it doesn't matter how sharp your tools are, it just kind of turns to powder a lot of times when you're turning it. And man, he's not wrong. It's just like this, like sawdust comes out of it.
Yeah. But it sure is pretty wood.
It
What's
really
the finish?
is.
What's the finish on that?
This is really complicated finish. This is a spray-on sanding sealer followed by a spray-on lacquer, because I am what you call lazy.
I'm right with you. Yeah.
It still looks
Yeah,
great. Doug.
we just can't afford the Texas ebony, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Stuff.
All righty,
Very
well,
jealous. Nice job, Doug. Nice job.
thank you. I sure appreciate it.
Looks
All
great.
right, we'll talk to you
I
later.
can't afford the Texas ebony either, Martin, and I live here.
None of us can afford the Texas ebony. It's only Texans and Doug.
I got mine for free.
No, I live in Texas. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
You know, I know somebody in Texas who's got a sawmill.
We
All
must
right,
all
let's
know
go,
somebody in Texas.
Let's go to the other side of the country and see what Craig's got. Hey, Craig.
Good evening, everybody. And happy Valentine's Day to y'all. I didn't get a whole lot of turning done this week, as opposed to last week when I went crazy. But this is something I turned for my wife about 25 years ago. It was one of the first pieces I had ever turned. And it's made out of some English maple burl that I bought. And I think I shared this with y'all when I first started, just to show some of the stuff that I had done before. When I was turning it, it was just going to be a bowl. And then I realized that she takes her rings off every night, or she took her rings off every night. And she would go ahead and take them off and just put them on that post that I left in the center of the bowl.
Nice.
And Howard opened up the door for something with his basket weave. I like doing things like that too.
Oh my.
It was an experiment to see if I could make it look like basket all the way around on this piece of wood.
Looks good.
And I know it's not turning, but with the maple or with the 2x4 construction stuff, I had a friend at bowling asked me if I could make a box for her jewelry. So I just milled some of my 2x4s on my planer and made this little box for
Nice.
Very nice.
Very
So-
nice.
And I know there's more than me that likes to carve too. So this was my wife's. I guess I'm using this for Valentine's Day. This was my wife's favorite piece that I'd made.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
And that's all I got to show. But I do have one question on my Harbor Freight lathe on the large 12-inch by was it 36, I think it is. All of the tool rests, the tool rests are 1-inch diameter post. The rest that came with it is like the 12-inch and like a 4-inch straight. What I'm trying to find are some tool rests, the curved ones that you can get inside the bowl a lot better. Problem is, I bought one and the posts are so darn long that unless I'm using the articulating arm, I can't even use the tool rest because it's holding it almost an inch above center. And I'm trying to find some of the tool rests with the 1-inch, the 25 millimeter diameter shaft that is only about, total height would be about 4.5 inches or so.
I got mine from Robust. I'll grab mine and look at what the length is on it as soon as I can figure out where the heck I put it.
Yeah, because everywhere I've looked, and I started looking at Amazon, and last night I was looking on all sorts of
Should
different.
be a standard 5-inch for the post.
Well, the problem with my lathe is on that the first arm for the tool rest.
Yep.
The mechanism to tighten the tool rest is right underneath that hole. So you can't drop the post down, you can't drop the tool rest down into it.
It's easy to make them shorter.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I got a reciprocating saw, or your reciprocating saw, or a hacksaw, lop off.
I figure my grinder might work pretty good.
Yeah.
With metal blade.
Yeah, if you have a cutting wheel on it.
If you got a
Craft
grinding
supply.
wheel with a metal cutting blade will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, die grinder
Or angle grinder.
Blade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Could also just put it in the banjo and hit it with a hammer. No, I'm kidding.
Craig, if you start cutting on it, make sure you're only cutting a little bit at a time, and then taking it and double checking it, because if you cut too much, then you got to go buy another tool rest.
That's a lot of CA glue to put that back on there.
Well,
What you
yeah,
wanna
you
do
could,
is-
you could do JB Weld to put it back on.
We gotta get Zog off this thing. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, and hope you all had a good Valentine's Day with your significant others.
take
It
a
was just like
take
yesterday.
a ruler and measure from the top of one of your tool rests to the bottom of the post.
Yeah,
Then
4.5 inch.
then you'll know exactly what length to make the new one.
Yeah, no, I did that last night. Actually it's like 4 3/8 inch on the one that came with the lathe, and it's almost exactly an inch longer on all the ones that I can find.
Yeah.
The only other option, I don't know if how good they are or not, but the ones where you just have the post and you can put different tops on that post. I don't know if anybody uses those or how stable they are, if they stay tight, or does that top get loose?
I've got a Nova S rest,
Right.
and I find when I was using it that it would loosen up when I was inside.
That was my concern. That was my concern, because last thing
It's
you need to
it's a
do is get
right-hand-
loose.
If it was a left-hand thread, it would be perfect, but they made it a right-hand thread.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right, well,
think
I
a
really
little bit
appreciate
of
it.
glue would solve that problem.
Well, then you gotta buy a whole bunch of bottom posts to go in all your different rests.
And you have to swap it out. So, but yeah, that's what the torch is for, to loosen up the glue. But yeah, you know, it's a paperweight now.
Doug, tell them how to loosen it up. Doug, go ahead and tell them.
A hammer. And if the hammer's not big enough or hard enough, you get a bigger one.
Get a bigger hammer.
Sledgehammer. And then in absolute emergencies, you go to Harbor Freight and you buy their jackhammer. You'll get it.
Well, you know what my dad called a hammer? A German
What's that?
screwdriver.
Oh.
Okay, now y'all really crossed the line, really.
Hey, I'm German, so I can say that. I'm done.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the middle of typing something out here. So.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
We can talk about hammers until you're done. There's the ball peen hammer, the claw hammer, the framing hammer, the drywall hammer.
Yeah, so my opinion on the S-Rest, it's a waste of money. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Mr. Todd. Ron, what you got? See the top of your head.
I got nothing.
I thought you had something.
No. I haven't been in the shop since September.
Oh, okay.
I'm a caregiver. I'm a caregiver right now.
Was there another Ron that wanted to share something?
There is another Todd.
Well, if there's another Ron or another Todd outside of Ron Radcliffe, let me know.
Dane, I had mentioned I had some stuff.
Who is this?
Todd Phipps.
Todd Phipps.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, Todd, you're about 6 people down, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right.
Yep.
No worries. All right, let's go to Mr. Hatch. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good evening. So, first off, happy birthday, Arizona. Being third generation, born and raised. Sorry, I moved to Texas, but I still love Texas. So a buddy of ours passed away a couple of years ago, and his wife wanted an urn. She went out shopping for him and came up with a really high priced one. Well, my mother-in-law said, I bet Tim can turn it. So that's the start of it, guys. It was.
There you go, Tim. That looks good, buddy.
Nice.
That is pretty.
Splits out that I got to fill yet, but it is now finally dry.
That is awesome.
That's pretty.
How did I get it dry? The microwave. How did I learn how to turn an urn? Worldwide Wood Turners. So when we start thinking about different things, I mean, I use that elbow tool, the original elbow tool that I got off of Bob Moffett. And then, of course, I made my own little rig to set that up. And then I watched Billy Burt do his demo where he used that Morse taper number 2 blank and attach it. So yeah. Hey, all I can say, guys, is thank you. When this thing finally gets done, it's going to have a walnut lid to it, and I'll make sure that I bring it back on. But yeah, that was a pretty good week's project there. So it came out pretty nice. That's just a rough sand. It hasn't had anything sanding sealer or anything put on it. Just it's taken 2 days, 3 days in the microwave to do, on and off.
Bird and a witch.
I'm finally down to 8%. It started out at 58%.
Wow.
Finally down to 8%, so I can now
have an awful big microwave.
Yeah.
The microwave, yep. And all that information on how to do that is on our website. So
yes, it is.
So everybody
My wife would never let me back in the house if I have microwave wood in the house.
There is a million different bits and tidbits of information this club has been gracious enough to give me over the last couple of years, and I really appreciate everything everyone's done.
Tim,
Yeah.
Tim, how deep is that? I mean, and how?
It is 10 and a half inches tall It is 9 3/4 inches wide. And right now I've got it hollowed out to about 1/2 inch wall thickness so I could dry it. I'm gonna chuck it back up, throw it back on the lathe after I backfill my cracks so it doesn't explode on me. And then I'll turn the inside.
Well, do you have any kind of a special jig to get it, that you can get your tool in down into that 10-inch deep?
I am just using the elbow tool and extending it out and using one of the arms, holding the arm as I can articulate it to get it in.
So Tim's using the hollowing rig.
Yeah, I'm using
He's not using standard tools.
No, it's an elbow tool.
Yeah,
the
by Tim
original
Yoder.
elbow tool, so.
Okay.
But I did learn a few things about that tool that I am probably gonna just keep that for the medium-sized stuff, and I'm gonna build a bigger rig like, you know, a homemade Jameson or something like that. I can't see spending money on something I can build, so.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Hey, appreciate it.
Beautiful
All right,
stuff.
we've had some really good gallery tonight, and time
Yeah,
kind of got away from me here. So let's we always like to do our safety moment before our demo. So let's go to Safety Sue and get ourselves a nice helping of safety for this evening. What you got, Sue?
Well, tonight's going to be about chucks. We talked
All right.
about clothing safety last week, so we're going to talk about chuck safety. This one tip I'm going to show you, I actually got from Mark Soleil. Besides the holes that are drilled in these, what's the difference between these two chucks? Okay.
Yeah, I can see the rib or whatever.
Yeah, the ribbing on the bottom, the
Right.
hole.
No.
Yeah.
No, one of them is a pin jaws, and the other has the jaws in the middle of the
Groove?
the
Yeah.
holder
and
thing
one
in the
screw.
middle of the
No.
jaws.
Oh,
The corners are rounded off.
Yeah, one screw versus two
Thank
screws.
you. Corners are rounded off. This
I
is
round
how,
them all off.
yeah. And it just takes a little bit on the stone, and you can just round them in 30 seconds or less. The reason for that is, especially for left-handers, you're turning, and if you get too close, what's that thing going to do when it comes around? It's going to hit you, and pretty soon bone will be there.
Or not.
If you round them, your hand you'll get a bruise, and you'll say some words that I can't say tonight. But it's going to hit you and round. It's not going to cut you. So take your jaws and take them to the stone on your grinder and just round them off a little bit. Now, I haven't rounded these off. These are brand new, and as you can tell, they're still on the little cord. But yeah, I grabbed these so that you could see about that. So that's just a safety tip, and we'll thank Mark Soleil for that. He gave me that.
He's on with us right now.
Is he?
That is a great idea.
Yeah. Thanks.
I would still bleed if it hit me, but maybe not as bad.
Exactly. I'm on blood thinners too, so I understand.
Yeah, well, I've got that old man paper thin skin that I hate.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mine's getting there, but it's female. So, anyways, chuck safety. If you go into facts on our homepage, it's on the bar across the top of the page, and you hit the facts button, you'll see safety. And we, thanks to Dave, have a plethora of safety suggestions. Now, the list is not inclusive of everything, but I think it's a pretty darn good to start thinking about your safety. And I would love to see everybody here next week. So bear with me, guys, because I see mostly every other word, but, oh, okay, turn off the lathe before tightening the chuck. My goodness, yes. And if some people would try, a brand newbie might try.
Oh my God. I mean, we did have the discussion about turning your lathe off before you move the tool rest. And I thought, do we really need to tell people this? But now you're saying we have to tell people to turn the lathe off before you tighten your chuck?
Exactly.
At some point, natural selection's got to take its place.
I agree, Doug.
If you have more than one hole, especially if you have on the tightener, whatever you call it, tighten both of them so that you've got a universal tightness on your
Put
jaw.
two there for a reason.
Yep. They're there for a reason. So tighten both of them so that you can get an even amount of tension between your jaw and the piece that you're turning. Make sure the back of the chuck is firmly positioned against the headstock with no threads exposed. That's important. If you have a couple of threads exposed, you can get the rubber washers to put in there between the two. It's a great idea to have them. It also makes it easier for you to loosen your chuck. Even though the chuck is on there tight, sometimes it's kind of hard to loosen the chuck when you've tightened it with a death grip. So I recommend those round rubbers washers that you can get. And they're only a couple dollars a piece, guys. Here, it even says it in this safety thing. Use a washer to fill the space between the back of a chuck and headstock. Make sure the wood is flat against the jaws of the chuck. Okay, that's why we want to make sure that's flat there and it's seated on the jaws of the chuck, not the bottom of the jaw or not on the chuck itself. Just the side is going to be seated against the jaws up on top. Make sure the chuck key, adjusting wrenches and knockout bars are removed before turning on the lathe. Make sure, I've got a spot on the side of my lathe that I put my chuck key in. And if it's not there, I don't turn that lathe on. And sometimes I look at it a couple times. So yeah, make sure that you've got that away from a set of jaws that's now moving at 1,000 RPMs and the everything behind you is broken. And in that scenario, make sure that when you do turn on your lathe, step to the side. Don't be the batting cage. So on chuck safety, I just want you to be safe. There's so many things that natural selection can happen to people. So please be safe out there. I want to see you in one piece next week. And a happy Valentine's Day to everybody. My dear sister, she's got a cracked sense of humor, and she said to say happy VD Day to everybody. So there you go, guys.
Hey, how about that? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's go get our penicillin shot.
Hey, most of us survived that.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, take care, you guys. See you next week.
All right, thanks, Sue.
You're the best, Sue. We love you.
Thanks,
All right,
Doug.
so-
Happy Valentine's
So with
Day.
that,
Thanks,
with
Mark.
that, let's go. Oh, is that Mark Soleil?
Yep.
Mark, happy Valentine's Day, buddy.
Well, thank you. I've had a good one.
That's
I'm
great.
so glad that you're on this week. That's wonderful.
Hey, Mark, do you think you would be able to do a demo, a little demo next week?
Next week, yeah, I'll do a little demo.
Sweet. Sounds great. Normally don't get them announced previously before a meeting, so now everybody's got something to look forward to see the master of slicing.
There you go.
And if you are a
That'll
new
work.
turner on here and you have not seen Mark give a demo, you are in for a treat. So don't miss
Yes,
next
indeed.
week.
Yeah, you don't want to miss next week with Mark Soleil. And if you've
That
never
is one
heard
of
of
the
Mark
best in
Soleil,
the world.
look him up on YouTube. He is demonstrated in clubs all across North America. So anyway, that's great. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll do that for you. And what do you want to see?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I learn every time you touch a tool and you touch it through the wood. I learn something. So
All right, we'll do some. It's not going to be depending on how I'm physically feeling.
yeah, right.
I can't
No
tell
worries.
you how long it'll be.
That's fine.
Hey,
That'll work. Just having your presence is great.
Yep.
Mark, and again, one of the things that I love about your stuff and you have helped me with is little things in your shop. Like my paper towels next to my lathe are the way they are because I learned that from you. You have so many little tips and tricks that you point out to us that you probably think, I don't know, doesn't everybody know this? And we don't, because we're not Mark Soleil. You're Mark Soleil. So anything that you show us, like Data's saying, like you just get on camera and we're little kids in the candy store just learning.
Right.
So anything that you can show us, we will gladly watch.
Hey, Mark.
All right.
Mark, this is Dave George up in Minnesota. So I just know I've watched a lot of your videos and you do excellent. But you know, there's a few of us that are still beginners, and there's a few people that are even just really new to this. So is anything that's kind of the basic basic type of demo is kind of nice about how to use tools and stuff like that. So it's, you know, no pressure.
Yep.
I agree. He's one of the few people in this world that I'd cross the street to watch turn. He's one of the few people in the entire world that I would actually go through the effort of crossing the street to watch. I enjoy it. He's a grumpy old bastard. I got to say that. You know, that's just how he is. But that's what I love is there's nothing false about Mark Soleil. He'll tell you the way it is and show you the way it is, and I love him for it. Looks like he's freezing to death, guys. We need to let him get warmed up a little bit, man. But
Probably
it's good to
should.
see you, Mark.
It's a good segue. All right, so let's go ahead, Mark.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and I'm coming back slowly.
Good. All right.
That's wonderful to hear.
I know, right? That'll work. Happy Valentine's Day to you and the missus as well, Mark.
All right, I'll conjure up something for next week.
That's great. Sounds. I can't wait.
All right.
All right. So we have Mr. Kurt Kapp on for a demo tonight. This is going to be a live demo that he is doing. So all questions and comments, let's keep them till the end of the demo, unless they're sequestered by Kurt. Because when you interrupt the demonstrator when they're demoing, it kind of throws off their train of thought or their mindset as they're working, and it's just easier to answer all the questions at the end of the demo. So without further ado, I am going to mute everybody. Kurt, unmute yourself. Okay, everybody is muted. Unmute yourself, Kurt.
Got it.
Right on. We got you. Look at that sticker.
You don't have me highlighted though. We're looking at you.
We're looking at you, Kurt.
Now you got it. Here's what we're going to do tonight.
Ooh, pretty.
We're going to do a little bit of grain filling. This is on a piece of white oak, quarter sawn white oak. What we're going to work with tonight is ash. So we'll get into a little bit more of the products as we go along that are available. But first thing we need to do, of course, this piece has been turned and sanded like we're going to finish it as a natural piece of wood. So it's been sanded through 800 and it's ready to go. No torn grain, no scratches, anything like that, because the grain fillers will fill everything. I'm going to spray it down with a little bit of alcohol, open up the pores. I'm going to use an alcohol-based dye first off. So we're just going to open the pores back up because as you sand that fine, it closes everything up. So if you put a little bit of alcohol in it first, I guess if you were using the water-based dyes, you could put a little bit of water on it to open things back up a little bit. Just a little bit, not much. Cleans off some of the dirt as well. Paper towels, alcohol, gonna get laid over the edge of the trash can to dry. And then we gotta have a background color. Your background color can be anything dark. You can use black. I'm gonna use black. Black actually works the best for me. You can use a dark green, dark blue, something along those lines. You do have to keep in mind of there's color in the wood, like this ash is sort of a yellowish color. It's not white. So our black may not totally come out black. It may come out a little bit muted as that white, the white oak piece, a lot of the brown showed through from the oak, which I should have done it a little different. We're going to do this one a little bit different than what I did that one. Of course, the hardest part is going to be getting in the little groove because it has a little bead, but we'll just cheat and let gravity do the work for us. Put a drop of dye in there and let it run around the circle. We're going to go over the whole thing with the dye first. I have the rim finished on the inside or on the top side. It has not been hollowed out yet. And I did these about a week or so ago, and this thing has actually moved a little bit. You'll see when I turn it on. It did move a little bit. Not enough to make anything drastic, because I'm not going to make it thin. As you can see right here is an area that the dye is not really coloring it as well. It's not soaking in as much. So if we want to go for the pure black, the next step will make it pure black, or blacker anyhow. And if you didn't know it, most of the dyes out there, commercially, or even the ones that I make, that you make using Trans Tin or one of those, black is not usually really black. It's actually a dark purple or a dark blue. Most of what I've seen is purple. If you get a little bit on the paper towel, like right out of the bottle, and just a little bit like out towards the edge, you'll get to figure out what color it really is. But it does highlight the grain. So that's the first step, color. Second step would be to seal it. And I cheat. I like to use things that are simple. That's alcohol based. It's going to be dry in a matter of a couple seconds. We can spin it a little bit, make it dry a little quicker. Other thing we can do, if it was in Las Vegas with Jimmy Clues, he'd say, we just light it on fire, but I try and stay away from that. Just going to take a paper towel and sort of burnish it a little bit, just to make it dry. And we're going to keep our speed down. Probably is about 200 RPMs. That's about as slow as my lathe will go on the belt that it's on. And we're gonna airbrush the finish on it. What the finish is shellac. A very thin, deep wax shellac. It's actually Zinsser's seal coat. I just use a simple airbrush, a Slager's bed airbrush. You buy them for about $25. My idea of evacuation of any of the mist that's going to fly around, just out of your sight, there's a 4-inch dust collection hose, and the dust collector is running at the moment. But that also runs into a cyclone, so it's not getting back to my dust collector. I'm going to take our airbrush. We'll make it blacker yet. And what it goes to slack.
Kurt, your audio is coming through kind of funny, like you're on Star Trek.
My audio is doing what?
Oh, you sound perfect now. Earlier, for about a minute, you were sounded like you were from outer space. It was very, very weak.
Okay, that's the noise cancellation part. That's all we're gonna do. As you can see, when I spin it around, the harder bits of the grain are now shiny, and the softer bits stayed dull, which means it's soaked into it. So that needs to dry. So this is the time consuming part of it, is waiting for that to dry. The shellac will take about half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that to dry. We're not going to wait that half an hour, 45 minutes. I have some pieces ready to go that have been done the same way, or at least similar way. I got to switch chucks for the first one. There's a couple ways of turning things black as well. You can dye, there's all kind of dyes out there. There's also a really fun way, and you can take a torch to it. If it's an open, this has to be an open grain wood to do it, period. But ash burns well. That's generally what I use, would be ash, because I have lots of it.
Kurt, on the dye, what brand was it?
That was just some Transtant dye and alcohol.
Like
also,
chestnut?
No. Transtant's just the concentrated dye you buy in a bottle, and then you can mix it with either water or alcohol.
Okay.
I do have the chestnut spirit stains as well. They work just as well. So this piece has been done with the black, and I think because I can see there's some places that's lighter. This was done just black and this plain shellac. And then we have a multitude of products and colors that's available. There's some Hampshire, turn it the right way, both cases. At Hampshire Sheen, some Chroma Guild. This is a wax. The Hampshire Sheen products are a wax. They're pretty easy to use. The Chroma Guild, like in something, I'm going to use the Chroma Guild on this one. I did the first one in purple. Let's do this one in blue. I only have 3 colors of that. They don't have Chromacraft does not have a big selection of colors. They do now have some that are iridescent. I did not purchase any of them, but this stuff is actually fairly expensive for what it is. To me, that little tube is like $17 or $18. At least it was the last time I bought it.
Oh, wow.
So it's not cheap, but it goes a long ways, as you'll see, because we're not going to use much of it to do what we need to do, because we're just filling the grain. So I'll just take a little bit and get it on just a little squeeze out and just get a little bit on my finger. Get my glove tight. And I'll just rub it between my fingers so that I don't get a big glob in one place. And then we'll just go over and make little circles in the area that we want to fill, which is the whole thing. And you just go back and rub your fingers together. It's actually quite easy and fairly quick to do. It's the in-between time that takes longer than anything. Yeah, it's showing good.
Oh, it looks cool.
So we'll go over the whole thing. Like I say, it doesn't take very long, and we're as expensive as the tube is, it's like, oh my God, you're going to go broke. But as you can see, the more I rub it around, and your fingers are heating it up, and makes it even sort of thinner than what it already is. So just get it rubbed in real nice and even. Try and get everything filled. And as I said earlier, this is not this is not a good thing to use if you have trouble with, if there's any kind of grain that's torn or you have some big scratches in it, maybe sanding scratches or something like that, because this will fill them in just as easy as it fills the grain of the wood. And they do really stand out quite nicely. And of course, you won't see it until you put this on. This
I
is
meant to have
really,
that tear out.
pardon?
Oh, I was saying, oh, I meant to have that tear out there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's shit, like say, everything, you know, shit happens, so.
Right.
And there's nothing says that you can't blend the colors too, if you wanted to. I'm not the color magician. I've taken a couple classes with Jimmy Clues and he's like, well, let's put some of this and that in there. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'm pretty much going to use one color. And this stuff actually sets up fairly quickly because it's some sort of an oil-based product. But I think it says you can thin it or clean up as mineral spirits. I'm just going to take a dry paper towel and I'm going to go back over it lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. You also can do this while it's spinning. I have a tendency to push a little bit too hard when it's spinning. So I usually just do it by hand. And I'm just going to lightly go back over it and try and get as much of the high spots off as I can with the paper towel. And you can see you get a fair amount back off. And if you get called away or something like that and this dries, the paint thinner will cut it back. Even if you would come back like the next day, it'll still take it off because the shellac has sealed the top surface. And the reason for the top surface being filled is this would change the color of even the black. And it won't look right if you don't seal it. Of some sort of a sealer. Doesn't have to be shellac. It could be a light coat of lacquer or something along those lines as well. It just needs to be sealed a little bit. So as it dries, you just kind of keep after it a little bit to get any of the places that might have been missed. And we didn't do the inside. Do the inside real quick. You won't be able to see what I'm doing, but you get the idea from the outside as to what I did. Inside will be quicker because I'm not going in circles. I'm just going to go straight around it.
Got plenty of time. What colors do they have of that stuff?
In the Chroma Guild, they have your standard colors of blue or
blue, red, green, yellow.
no, I wish they did. They don't. Why they don't have primary colors is beyond me. Well,
Right.
I do know
Origin.
why. I got a really quick, simple explanation on that. And the explanation was that Nick Agar doesn't like that. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, that's who has a big say in what the colors they make, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Which is really weird because they used to make a paste, which is, I do have some of that. They used to make this stuff. It's called an accent paste. It was relatively expensive too, I think. I only ever got one little jar of it. I use that on Oh no, we'll use purple on the other one. But it's a lot thicker. It is a paste. And it's a lot thicker and it's really nice. And they had a bunch of colors on that. Well, when they quit making that, then somewhere along the line they said, no, we're just only going to have these handful of colors. And that's the explanation I got, was that it's what Nick Agar wanted. Okay, well, what if everybody else wants something else? But I'm kind of surprised that I saw they had the iridescent ones, but they were more expensive. So from there, what I would do with it, and we're going to do the same thing. I'll take it off here and flip it over so you can see it better. I would sit this off to dry for a while. It is oil based, and you know, if you watch Nick do a demonstration somewhere, he would go right over it and seal it right then and there. But see, like right here, now that I got up in different light, is some areas that are kind of bled over into places I don't want it. But if I let this dry while I put the stuff on the other one and come back, I can take a little bit of mineral spirits and lightly wipe over this stuff, and it'll clean all these areas out there that I don't want. Or you could just leave it like that. But it's got, it definitely has given it some blue haze through these areas. And like I say, I should have sprayed this one with the black shellac, because you'll see, we can maybe get back to that one before we're done. And it'll look a little bit different. So I'll just be lazy. I'm not going to switch back to the other chuck. Somehow or another, I didn't quite do the same size tenon on all of them. Now this one has been turned black the fun way. I would call it the fun. I call it the fun way. This has been burnt. Turned, it was sanded. Jimmy Clues, when I did some of them, he loves to do that in a class. Simple, either propane, map torch, map gas. I have a map gas when it burns hotter. You just take it outside and torch it. Let it cool off a couple minutes or whatever, so you can touch it and bring it back in the house. And you take a wire brush, a brass brush, small brass brush, and brush with the grain, and it cleans out all the stuff in the grain, which is kind of interesting. We did blue. Let's do purple. We'll do a different one. We use the Hampshire sheen on this one. See how well I have it sealed. It'll tell me really quickly. If you don't get it sealed well enough, but it's kind of a fine line between not well enough and too well. If you fill the pores up, then there's nothing to fill. So like I say, it's sort of a fine line. But if we take this grain filler of this stuff, it's got to be coarse enough it's going to want to tear my paper towel apart. So I guess we'll just use fingers. You can use a paper towel on that one, but this is a wax-based product. So if we go across the grain with this one, it's literally going to fill those pores completely up. Because now we have something really to fill because of it being burnt. And we do it in sort of the same fashion. We do our little circles. This when you burn them, will take more material to fill up the cracks, because there is genuinely like little valleys in there.
A lot more real estate.
A lot more real estate to fill. Not that the one I just used, it'll fill them up too. This is going to fill them up fairly full. But when I turn it on and spin it to take off the excess, it will get down in there and pull some of that excess off. You're not gonna lose the texture effect of the burning. It's not gonna fill it to that point. This one here, I definitely leave them sit. I would leave this, once I get it to the proper point, this one I definitely leave sit overnight. Because it has some sort of an oil in it too. But this one's actually working quite, I got this one sealed quite well. Because the purple, I don't, purple, my wife's a painter and a decorative painter, so she's better at colors than I am. But if you don't get it sealed really well, purple will turn pink on the black. There's a pink one too, which is kind of interesting. But there again, it needs to be really jet black for the purple to show. You can do the it doesn't have to be just grain filling. If you're doing spiraling, the texturing tools and things like that, this stuff works really well on that too. Just to highlight it. Same process, so you'd want to, if it's just on raw wood or something like that, you still want to seal it first. Otherwise, this stuff has a pretty potent dye in it, because it will dye things quickly, namely fingers. It will dye them quite nicely. Not quite as bad as the wood dye, as far as to get it off of your fingers, but it still dyes them just the same.
Well, it sure makes a beautiful effect on the wood, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, and basically, I'm taking basically a very plain piece of wood and making it stand out and look like something.
Right. Lord
Which
knows
is why I liked it, because it's, a lot of like this kind of stuff, a lot of the ash and things like that is very plain. I mean, there is some that would have some curl to it or what have you, but most of it's just, plain, simple grain. These look really neat if you do get a piece that does have some wild looking grain or something like that in, or grain that's less uniform. Then that looks a little bit neater.
Is that for that stuff? Is that a special purple color, or is it just straight up purple?
It's just straight up purple. What's he call it? He calls it electric purple.
Electric purple.
Yeah. I think he's across the pond. That's that Martin Sabensmith.
Yep.
That's who makes that. This time I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. I'm up about 750 RPMs. Could have my face shield on because I could actually wear it, but I'm pretty much off to the side. I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to breeze across it. And I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it. I'm just trying to float across the surface to get more of it off the surface. And what I'm going to look for is the places that I missed, because they'll show. Maybe places that I got a little too heavy-handed. Did pretty good, and I got one place. So we can hit it a little bit more. You keep getting little sort of clean bits of towel. Try and get the black to be back to black. And this being a smaller piece, the grain lines are quite tight together. But there again, if we let this sit for a while, couple hours overnight as it dries, we can go back and I could go back and sort of buff them off with just a paper towel, because the shellac is still on all this high part of the black. So it really won't affect what's underneath it. It'll just wipe off the stuff on its surface. You will go through a lot of paper towels playing with this stuff too, and gloves. Been a while since I've done one that I burnt. I forgot that since you burn it, it leaves sort of left some sharp edges up there that it wants to sort of fray the paper towel. Well, I probably should have sanded it a little bit, maybe. Let's do the rim quick. And then I'll show you what we got. And this stuff is available through, where I got it from was Wood World in Texas. The only reason I bought it from them, well, for one, at that time, I've had these for a couple of years. They were the only people that was his distributor in the US. I'm not sure whether the Walnut Log is now carrying them or not. I know he's carrying some of his other stuff. So I'm thinking maybe he might be carrying some of this as well.
Yes, he does.
Okay. I hope there's nobody here from Wood World of Texas, but I wanted to try this. I saw Martin demonstrate it on his YouTube or whatever, and I thought it looked interesting. And I wanted to try it, and he had, there was a discount code or something for 10% off or something like that. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to get me a couple cans of that. Because there again, that stuff is fairly expensive. I think when I bought it was like $12 or $13 for a can, which is not ridiculous. And I'm like, well, it's not like I haven't, pissed away $50 on other stuff for wood turning.
Right.
So I went in there and I picked a handful of colors. And I'm like, well, that should be good enough. And I got to the shipping and they were going to charge me like $22 or $23 shipping. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm like, this thing weighs, I ship enough glue all over the country. And I'm like, I know what this stuff costs to ship and it ain't what you're charging. So there's our purple. So we did blue and purple.
That is gorgeous.
On that shipping charge, what he does, his system doesn't calculate the proper zip code postage, so it's a ballpark estimation, and there's a hold that's put on that shipping charge until he actually processes the order there at the store, and then he calculates the correct postage. So that's how that works with him down there.
Okay. Well, see there again, if
otherwise just call him and place the order.
Right. Well, it ended up my daughter and husband were going to be down there a couple months or something later, and I'm like, I looked it up online. I'm like, how close are you going to be to this place? And she goes, well, like 20 minutes away or something like that. Like, good. I'm like, you're going there. And she's
Here's
like,
what you're going to do.
Here's what you're gonna do. And she called me and we I got a tour of their store because she video, we did the video chat and she walked around. She's like, you want this one, this one, this one? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But so that's our purple. And it is very textured on this case. And you rub your fingers across it, there's no doubt that texture is there, even though it has been sort of filled in. Now from there, I let these go. Generally, we'll let them go till the next day. And then I will come back with another coat of shellac to seal all this in. Because remember, some of this stuff, the first one is an oil-based product. This is some sort of oil wax. So we need something to bond to that coating. So the you know, as we all know, shellac will stick to about anything and everything. So, and I will leave the bottom of this natural, as well as the inside of this one will be natural as well. And who knows, I probably will make this opening on the top maybe a little bit bigger, and then it'll get some sort of a lid on it. Whether the lid gets textured this way, or just use a piece of, I'll probably just use a piece of figured maple for the lid, and then try and dye back into the purple family or something along those lines, and maybe a little bit of a finial or something for on top of it. But is our first piece dry? I don't stick to it, so that's a plus. Let's see what we can pink. In the chroma guilds, I only have 3 colors. I have the blue that I used, I have a purple, and I have a copper in that. Other ones that they have out there, Jimmy Clues has his name on one. There again, they're sold out of Woodworld of Texas. There is a very big variety of colors in these. These are an oil-based product, so if they get hard on you, you just put a little bit of mineral oil in them, and it brings them right back to life. Well, I got silver on my fingers. Like I say, I've been out and done. Yeah. The other thing, there's some formulas out there to make your own. This is still a work in progress as far as I'm concerned. This is a one that I got from, it's actually a fairly local guy. And it's basically you're mixing, it's a wax and oil. It's like the Minwax finishing oil or finishing wax that you would use for wooden furniture. A little bit of beeswax in it, a little bit of mineral oil, and then you can make it whatever color you want. So I'm working on a red. I like red, so that's kind of where it's at. And then you heat all that stuff up, preferably when your wife's not looking, because you sort of use a double boiler. Or in my case, my idea of a double broiler was a little glass dish from the dollar store. I put all that stuff in it, put it in a little pan with water in it, and heated it up. And you gotta keep stirring the crap out of it so that everything melts together. This actually just got
before.
This got remelted the second time because I went with his general directions, and he had, you know, a specific gram amount of mica powder that he put in it. And mica powder is very potent as far as a colorant, but when I put this on, and even now, it's not really the red that I would be looking for. I mean, it is red, but it's really almost, to me, it's almost pink. And this one, we'll just play with this one, show you some differences. So it does have a reddish color to it. Not quite the red that I would want. Try and get my finger clean. So if we go with the pink, we'll go pink beside it. And this is back to this is another one of the Hampshire Sheen ones. These are very, very easy to use. I will say that either one, any of them are not very overly difficult to use. Except if you watch some YouTube videos of some of the people that use some of this stuff. You can go to Hobby Lobby. There's a, what's it called? It's a gilder's cream.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. Rub and Buff. I think is actually the name. I don't. Yeah, I don't have any. It comes in a tube that's about half that size. It just comes in a tube. It's about that long, and it's like $5, something like that.
Yeah, it's basically gilt cream or
Yeah,
gilder
that's
cream.
right. You'll find it with the stuff it'll be around the picture framing stuff in that area.
Okay. Framing
my
department.
My craft store sells them too.
Right. Everybody seems to sell them. You can use them as well. Use the same way. The first video that I ever watched of somebody doing it, I think that was before I went out to Jimmy's. He put it on and left it totally dry, and then come back and used mineral spirits or something like that to wipe all the excess off. And I'm like, it's a real pain in the ass because it really dries tough. So we got red to what should be pink, but as you can maybe see, does that look pink to you? No, it's purple.
No, it's no, it's coming through like oranges.
Right.
Yeah.
The longer it goes, the drier it gets, the more purple it gets. So the pink one to me is kind of a it's kind of a no in some ways. It
No,
does
probably
work.
wouldn't be my first color to pick up.
Yeah, I gotta
No.
really explain to Rhodes now. He has no idea what you're talking about.
Well, the pink does look neat on like to use a spiraling tool on like a piece of hard maple or something like that. Spray it black, coat it with shellac or lacquer or something like that, and then just fill in the spiraling with it. Then it does a really nice job. And it is pink. That's the electric green. Yeah, of theirs. I think that one looks neat. My wife doesn't necessarily think so. But to me, that one does better for me.
I like that green.
I've done a handful of pieces. I do some of the three-cornered lidded boxes. And some of the first ones I did were in ash, and I used the electric green. And I think I did it on my Twitch stream. At that point, it was only Twitch. I do Twitch and YouTube together now. And she watched it, and they come out like the next week or whatever. She said, I want to see that little thing. And I come down and got it for her and took it back upstairs, and she goes, that's mine. I'm like, what do you mean it's yours? Because it's sort of, I just said. Now,
right.
These type of fillers from Jimmy Clues, as you can see, it's very, very stiff as it goes on. Now, to help that situation, he had a couple different ways of dealing with it. First off, he would have put a coat of Danish oil on. Wiped a coat of Danish oil on because you're going to color it all the same color. He would have wiped the coat of Danish oil on it first to make it more liquid. So we can just cheat and put a little bit of mineral spirits on our paper towel, and now it becomes very runny and just like everything else. Makes it much, much easier to put it on.
It makes it more malleable.
Right. So a little bit of, those types, that are like that are sort of thicker. They're a little bit easier to manipulate. And you would have the silver. Silver looks good if it's silver and red will look good. About the only, I mean, they look all right in the black, but like I say, the green, the reds are not so much. The blues, to me, the blue is where it's at as far as craft shows that they're selling the stuff. Which is kind of beyond me why, 90% of the sales go to women, but they seem to like the blue. Hampshire Sheen does have a blue in theirs too. It's all right. I just kind of like the other blue colors. And like Jimmy told me, he said, you can blend all this stuff together. You can put, you can go wild on it. You can put some blue out there in the middle of your other colors. And the colors will blend together and all that good stuff. But like I say, I'm pretty much going to do simple colors. Like I say, from there, it's going to set up for a while. I'm going to come back after it with the shellac and the airbrush. And then from there, you could finish it with whatever you want to. Whether you wipe your finish on, spray your finish on. For me, when it comes to this stuff, it's going to be sprayed. And probably 9 times out of 10, it's going to be sprayed with that little airbrush. It's just, it's very simple. I do have a big sprayer because I've used to make cabinets, but something like this, I could spray easily with the cabinets with the big, it's a turbine sprayer meant for doing big cabinet work or whatever. I could sit this up on a little bit of a lazy Susan so I could spin it around, spray the outside, spray this rim complete. And since I've already put basically 2 to 3 coats of shellac on it before that, it only takes like 1 or 2 coats of lacquer, 1 or 2 coats of top coat over top of that. Everything's already smooth, so you shouldn't have any bubbling or anything like that to go with it. Let me get this over. I have a piece over here that's pretty much finished. Another one of these things to go to take classes with somebody. Some of these pieces come home and maybe one.
We lost your audio.
He walked away from his mic for a second, I think.
Yeah, my mic is on my head. It
No, when
should
you
not have,
walked away, we lost your audio.
I shouldn't have lost that. Here's a piece that I did with Jimmy Clues in his class. That's where I first ran into the burning. That is also the same blue. This also already has a coat of lacquer over top of that. This one even has is dyed in the grain filled on the inside as well. The reason it still hasn't gone anywhere else is because I'm thinking that I might cut the inside again because there's enough material left to do that.
Yeah, it looks great. Shows you paid attention during class.
Well, I've been there twice and we've done some of that stuff twice. So
Yeah.
You're spending that kind of money, you should at least pay attention.
Yeah, amen.
That's my opinion of it, but neither here nor there. But I think that's all I got for you. Because I really can't. Good. Needless to say, the psychedelic one will get recut. It may be just as simple as a scraper across it to wipe everything back off
Yeah.
and start over with it.
Well, it really turned out good. Can you show that little one again?
Which little one? The little blue one?
Yeah, when you get ready to here.
The one that I just had?
Yeah. No, the one that you had charred really well and then rubbed the purple cream in on.
Right.
Yeah.
You said blue. That's the purple one.
Sorry. Yep. Sorry. Purple. Yeah, it looks really good.
Widen out just a bit.
So that's just charred, not the black dye?
Right. Right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's burnt. It's basically it's burnt black.
Yeah,
That's it.
so Shugiban.
So if you don't char it hard enough and the black, and if it's not black enough, this one I think I sprayed with the black shellac as well, if I remember correctly. The black shellac, and I probably could even get away with not putting the dye on first. You could probably go right to the black shellac because it has a fair amount of black in it. So it's not going to hurt anything. I'll clean my airbrush. Show you what to do when you're cheap and you buy an airbrush. Like I say, these airbrushes are not expensive to start with. You can run them off of your compressor if you already have a compressor. This is what's called the poor man's airbrush cleaner. I switched over. It's got alcohol in it. I'm gonna spray it in there. It keeps the mist contained, and then it'll evaporate in the little jug with
Cool idea.
no real fire hazard. Because they make a little pot for airbrushes to do that very same thing with, and it's like, well, I'm not spending $30 or $40 for something that's all I'm gonna do is spray it into it. I'm like, that's just a jug of lemonade or whatever it was. So I probably will lose my audio because I'm going to turn the dust collector back on.
Quiet. We don't hear anything.
I didn't say anything. So now it's been sealed. And from there, let it dry and then put whatever top coat over it you want. Like I say, from there, for me, it's going to be sprayed with lacquer, which my lacquer is water-based. If anybody has ever tried any water-based, most cabinet people say that there's never been a good water-based lacquer made in life, but there's one out from Target Coatings. They're out of New Jersey. I've used it for about 20 years. And it is truly water-based. It has no real amount of odor to it.
They took the nerve toxins out.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever been, well, you all know that you use a rattle can stuff. When you spray that out of a big spray gun, you better have a really good respirator or it'll kill you. I mean, it's very dangerous stuff to use. Even a rattle can in a closed-in environment. I mean, there's a fella in town here that sprays it all the time, and he helped me learn how to spray the stuff, spray what I use. So there now it has a shine, and that's just a shellac. And it does bring out the grain quite nicely. Like I say, for the most part, it needs a dark background.
Right.
there was one of the guys in the class that put some of the gold grain filler in a piece of ash, just plain ash, no color on it at all. He thought it looked neat, but he was in a group of pretty much one that thought it looked neat, but that's pretty
As
much
the
it.
kids would, as the kids would say today, that was all real sick, Kurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
But it's-
can you for the creams and everything that you use, can you put them up, hold them by the camera? There's some folks that want a screenshot for
Okay, let me
buying
get-
purposes later.
Let me get this chuck off of here. And we'll get it.
And while you're doing that, everybody, I've got to go do the insulin shot for the cat, so I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Well, let's start with the wax ones. These are all Hampshire Sheen. Let me get down here to where you can see it. The light does not cooperate very well with this. That's the Hampshire Sheen embellishing waxes. There is way more colors than what I have there, though.
I know how long he worked to get that red right. So
Yeah, he also has like gold and silver.
Yeah, he has the basic other colors. Gold,
White,
silver,
black.
white, black. I'm not
White,
sure.
gold and silver.
He has
Kurt?
white.
Kurt, can you spray finish over those embellishing waxes?
I would probably put a coat of, I'm a fan of shellac.
Yep, me too.
So my suggestion would be, I've never tried to put finish directly over them because you got to watch some of this stuff. It will melt some of it. I mean, I'm distributor of the Parfix. Parfix will literally melt this stuff.
Martin
Any of them.
Smith, who created these, said you could spray lacquer over them without any problems.
I have successfully sprayed lacquer and poly over these waxes.
Right.
Okay.
But you do have to keep in mind they are a wax. So, but a simple coat of shellac to me is easier.
Hey, Kurt, do you use de-wax shellac or just regular shellac?
I use de-waxed shellac, but I don't
Okay.
think it would really matter. If I put them right outside up, it would look better. There's the Chroma Gilbans. Price wise, they're probably a little bit more expensive. But like I say, those tubes are a couple years old, and I do a fair amount of stuff with them. Because as you saw, it doesn't take very much to fill the grain. So, and they are, I don't know if I can even read. It says keep away from children, so I shouldn't be using it. Combustible. Do not take internally. That's a bright idea. Yeah, see, it has right on them, or the Nick Agar signature series. Okay. Does not say what the solvent is, but I know just from using it, it's mineral spirits will take it right off. If you get it on somewhere you don't want it, it will take it off. As long as you don't get it down in, if it's an open poured, you're only going to, for the most part, you're going to use it on open poured wood to do what I'm doing. But like I say, the texturing, these will work really well because they're very, very thin. I watched Nick Agar do one where he did the, what did he call it? The water
Viking Sunset.
Oh yeah,
Viking Sunset Bowl.
Right. These you can use by that method of rubbing them in between your fingers. If you wanted to take that a black piece or a dark colored piece and wanted to go over like that charred piece, if you wanted to go over just the high points, you could, if you rubbed it in your fingers, you could just go over the high points and it would stick to the high points and leave the black underneath it. I've seen that done as well. But What's the other one? Oh, the other ones are have Jimmy Clue's name on it. That I have. And they last a long time. I mean, you buy them and they don't really go bad. That even has a price on it. There again, they're $20 a little for a bottle, for a jar.
It'll go a long way.
1.5 ounce jar. I have the gold, the silver, the turquoise. I think I have a blue one in that one, but the blue one in his I didn't particularly care for. And I got a yellow, and the yellow wasn't overly great. But there's another one. This one, I think you find this one at the hobby stores. This is there again, it's a Gilder's paste, which has gotten a bit hard on me. But I could put there again, I think I could put a little bit of mineral oil in there, sleep for overnight or a couple of days or whatever, and it'll come back to being more
malleable.
More malleable. But that I know you can buy at like Hobby Lobby and those places. And could be used the same way.
Kirk, have you ever tried Creative Expressions gilding polish? It's actually a cream.
No.
It's something my wife uses in card making. And
Okay.
it works just like the stuff you just used tonight. It's very similar, but it's creamy like the stuff you had in the tubes.
Right. The Gilder's cream is just that. I mean, it is very creamy. It's
Yeah.
probably the easier ones to work with.
This stuff that she gets comes in a 5.5 ounce jar, and it's like $5 for a 5.5 ounce jar. It's pretty cheap.
I like the sound of that.
Scott, can you put that in the chat for us?
How about I show you a picture of the colors quick?
Yeah, let me
I
spam
have
over to you.
I have their color wheel up. Whoop, I had their color wheel up. Hang on.
Don't want to take away from the demo here.
Nope.
We're done.
I want him to try it, so I don't have to buy it and try it.
What's the name of it?
Called Creative Expressions Gilding Polish.
So it's got a wide span of colors there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I can show you how the bottle looks. There's the bottle.
And you bought that where?
You can buy it at any rubber stamp store.
Card making store, Hallmark store.
Yeah, like Hobby Lobby used to carry it. I don't know if they still do, but any of your scrapbooking stores will have it.
Is that basically a gilt cream or a gilding cream?
That's what it's called.
Well, that'd be better yet. It's cheaper. I like the sound of that.
And it comes, the top comes out and there's a little sponge in the top
Okay.
that you can use, that the card ladies use, for blending it, and it's water based, so you can blend it together. And there's no wax in it.
So you could use it to go over the top of things in that same fashion.
Right. That's why I was
And not
asking
get
if you could spray it over the wax, because I was curious.
Yeah, like I say, I over top of any of that stuff is going to get a coat of shellac. Yeah, it's what I use is Zinsser's Seal Coat, which is I think it's a 1 pound cut of de-wax shellac.
Yep.
Once again, another product that I've
Bob.
probably used for 20 years. And
Well-
you find the things that work and you just stick with them as far that goes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what we tend to do until we try something new, because we get our arms twisted.
Right. And that's what
Well,
the
does
purple
this-
one that we had from the beginning. This was all this is done the same way. This was done with lacquer in the rim as well. It was done the same way as I did these other bowls. All that is finished before I hollowed the inside out. The inside and the tenon or the foot has the 3408 on it. And then the whole thing gets buffed.
Looks
Yeah, it
great,
looks
Kurt.
great.
Awesome demo.
Great job. I mean, that's fantastic demo on using colored dyed waxes for fillers and embellishment here. I think it's the first time we've done a full on demo like this. So this is great.
I got
So
it.
folks, if anybody has a question, now's the time for you to ask your question. I know there was a period where there was a whole bunch of questions that went through the chat and I couldn't keep up with them. So if you still have it, now's your time to ask. Go ahead, Brenda.
What kind of wood would be good to use this for?
Anything with an open grain.
Which is oak,
Ash,
ash,
oak, hickory.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them out there. They just mentioned a whole bunch of them. I'm not a fan of the oak. If you're going to use the oak, the white oak, I mean it did fill it in, but the white oak doesn't really have a lot of the big fat grain. So I would probably go more in the red oak family.
Red oak.
Right.
Yeah,
like I
white
said,
oak
red
is
oak
significantly harder than red oak is.
Right.
I didn't notice any difference there, but yeah, there's just tons of them out there. Anything with any kind of grain, open grain to it.
Like sassafras.
Yeah.
pine.
Yeah. Well, the softwood would burn at the same rate as the softwood as the porous section of the pine. So I don't think pine would be a great choice.
Pine really doesn't have as much of an open grain as what you think, because this actually is a piece of pine. At least
Well, I'm
this
not
is.
real good at types of wood, so I couldn't tell you which ones has the open grain and which one don't.
Just pick it up and look at it and see.
Okay.
That's really all, it's all about. I mean, it's, play with something just like the ones that I just did tonight. That last one that we put umpteen different colors on. I mean, you're just going to cut it back off. Start with a nice sharp tool when you go to cut it back off, and by the time you get to the rim, it'll be dull and crap. Although that only has one coat of shellac on it. When you go cutting through, like the one that I did officially, that'll get lacquered. If I put another 2 or 3 coats of lacquer over top of that, as soon as the tool touches that, it will be instantly dull. Which surprised me, but because I use all
Oh, wait, Matt.
But. Any other questions?
Going once, going twice. All right,
Great demo,
everybody.
Kurt.
Great round of applause for Mr. Kurt Kapp here.
Very good demo.
Excellent demo.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yay.
Very nice.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right, so we have a couple people that I'm going to bump to the front here for
Not gonna get that
show
on.
and tell, because it's going to be along the lines of this. So first we're going to go to Sue. Hey, Sue.
Hey there, can you hear me? Okay.
We got you.
All right, I had done these, I don't know when, but it's ash. And I had dyed them what I thought was a dark green, but it didn't go all that dark. And then I put on, this is made by Deco Art, metallic luster, and it's a gilding paste. And this gilding paste is water-based. The dye I used was alcohol-based, and I let that dry. And here's the other handle that I did. And I was going to make all my 1/4-inch tools with the green, but I'll show you. The green one is a little bit loose right now, but here's the purple. Now
okay.
I got these. You could get them at decoart.com, or I got a lot of mine from Amazon. So just thought I'd let you know that you can do different base dyes. And like I said, this was a dark green, and I used the metallic lime green in this. And in order to get the, I'd used a hand wire brush while it was turning to get the grain to pop a little bit more. So yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
and you got that gold into the grain, is that right? It's not on top, it's into the grain?
Yeah, it's actually like what they call it, lavish green. That's what it's called.
Oh, so
And-
the gold color I'm seeing is actually this one right here?
Grain.
Yes, it's the
Okay.
green. Okay.
Thank you.
And it came out more green than it did the chartreuse, but I think a lot of that has to do with the color of the ash. But I did have to rub quite a bit in order to get it off the surfaces. It was like it wanted to cling to it. I never even thought about using the sealing shellac on there.
You didn't seal it first.
No, not between the dye and the other thing. But right now, I finished it actually with 3408. Gave it a couple of coats of that and then buffed it. But
Sheen to it.
yeah. So yeah. Also, I wanted to tell you something about shellac since I've used shellac quite a bit. I know how to make shellac, but when you buy the Zinsler, you want to get the sealer because that's the clearest. The other one has got the natural amber color to it. And they also have a red one, but that's hard to find. But I just wanted to let you know it was Brenda who asked the question, I think, about the shellac. You want to use the sealing shellac because that's clear. Any other shellac will give you a slightly amber tint.
And the others have
Or make
wax in
your own
them as
with
well.
blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Zinsser
Well-
seal coat is what you want, Brenda.
Yeah.
If you buy the the can at Lowe's or Home Depot, to the yellow can, that's like the 2-pound cut, which is the thicker.
Right.
You could make that into the seal coat as well, just
Sure.
by cutting it in half.
Exactly. Exactly.
50% alcohol. And if you don't
Right.
want the wax in it, put it in the freezer overnight or for a couple of days, pour it into another container with one of the very fine paint strainers in between, and you'll find there will be the wax. Because there's really not that much wax in it, but you can take the wax out of it that way.
That's a good idea.
Because I've done that before.
Instead of a pint, you'll get 2 pints. So yeah.
Right. Because the seal coat has become, at least for me, has become very difficult to get. And I have to buy it from Home Depot online. And I did a project last year for my daughter that I needed some. I had to buy 6 1-quart containers was the minimum. I either had to buy 6 1-quart or 2 1-gallon containers. They won't sell you 1 quart or 1 gallon anymore. They don't carry it. They don't carry it in the stores here.
Ah, gotcha.
Cause
Okay.
of DNA.
So yeah.
Okay. There is a recipe online, and you just type into Google about shellac rust recipes, and you
Yeah.
can order flakes almost everywhere. So yeah, any kind of your craft places, a lot of them will carry the shellac flakes. Because I was doing one piece and they wanted to look antique, and I used the red flakes and made my 2-pound cut.
And I
But
think we got a copy on our website of how to make it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, our website is inclusive, thanks to Dave.
Yes, it is.
If it's covered here, it's on a website.
That's right.
Right. All right. Let's go to Matt for another example here.
Okay, I actually have 3. So I'm going to go to share my screen here. This one here. Okay, so this is a Viking Sunset Bowl variant, and
We got a
the
black screen.
textures. What's that?
We got a black.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, took a while. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so this is a Viking Sunset Bowl variant. The textures were applied by various techniques, including the spiraling tool, the Wagner, the Sorby spiraling tool, the Wagner knurling tool, and some wood burning and some carving. The silver was applied as a rub and buff on the surface on the finger. So you basically put a very thin thin bit of it on your finger and then gently wipe it across the top like you're dry brushing it, only it's with your finger. This next piece is this is a piece of hard maple. It was turned flat and then painted with black gesso, and then the Survey spiraling tool was applied to create the texture, and then it was turned again. The white lines and the bowl were turned out of the black gesso. The blue is the Hampshire Sheen blue, electric blue. So the texture was created into the gesso, and then the blue was applied on top of that. Okay. So that's what the blue looks like. And then this one here is got, this was a piece of, I think this was a piece of ash, and it was sprayed with chestnut spirit stained black. And then I took the Rub and Buff Gold and dissolved it in denatured alcohol and then rubbed it into the grain. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but it really looks much better in person. It literally scintillates, but this is a really cool technique too. So what happened is it basically in the grain, the dissolved Rub and Buff, and this works with gilt cream too, but the dissolved Rub and Buff just basically settles in the grain, and then it takes very little to clean it off. So
good.
That's what I got. So there's a couple more techniques.
All right, right on. Appreciate it, Matt. Good follow up on the demo for another style there. Let's see. Let's bump to Todd here. He's got something along those lines as well.
Yeah. So
Gotcha, Todd.
mine is very similar to the demo today in that I had turned a piece of ash over the weekend and then used the Hampshire Sheen dyes, and then a very light coat of the Hampshire Sheen spray sanding sealer. And then I used the gold embellishing wax everywhere on this one instead. And then I put 2 coats of gloss lacquer over the top of it. So mine doesn't stand out. The embellishing wax doesn't stand out quite as much as what we saw in tonight's demo. But it was really similar idea, except that where he had the multiple colors, I pretty much did multiple colors of the dye instead. Yeah. And I showed this one before, but it's very similar in that it was a gloss black lacquer that then I put the embellishing cream in, and I know they mentioned it before, but if you're gonna put a sanding sealer or something like that over a dye, and plan on doing the embellishing cream, you got to put that sanding sealer or lacquer or whatever on really, really thin and light. Otherwise, it fills all those pores, and you don't have a place for that cream to go. So so those are two examples then from me.
Beautiful.
And then I had a couple of pieces from a couple of weeks ago where Dane had shown us a little box that he had made, and so I had this, what is it, Claro walnut or whatever it is.
Claro walnut.
Made a little box with it, and then I inlaid some maple in the top of it, and maybe
very cool.
Ooh.
The texturing in it.
Job.
And then
nice.
I put a little texturing and some embellishing wax on the inside of the lid too on that one. And then the piece of wood I had from that, there was like 1.5 inches or 2 inches of it left over, so I made a much smaller little box,
an earring box
out of the end of it, and did the same type of little texturing inside and out, and used to embellish. This is the gold embellishing cream from Hampshire Sheen. That's the white, and inside of it was gold over here and black over here, which sort of just playing with everything I had there to see what it looked like.
A basic question here is that the texturing, spiral in your tops and what have you. What tool? Yes. What tool do you use for that?
So that's the Robert Sorby mini texturing tool.
Okay.
So you can find it pretty much all over the place. I got mine at Rockler.
Okay.
It was like $70 with no handle and $120 with a handle. I bought it with no handle and made my own handle for it. So
Okay. Thank you very much.
yeah. And then I used some more Hampshire sheen on a bowl here with some gloss lacquer, no embellishing cream. And then well,
That's
except
pretty.
for the spiral in the bottom. And I had shown a bowl like this a few months ago, and somebody had asked a question about when it was if it was thin, did I ever have any of the coloring like seep through to the inside? And I think on this one, I'm like right here, because I put a black base on this and then sanded the black base off to give the nice depth to it. I think some of that black actually bled through. And so I think that's what I'm seeing there, not just the discoloration of the wood. So people that were wondering about that, I think that my dye bled through on that one. And then here was just another bowl that I turned, just a sanding sealer outside, and it's a tung oil on the inside. And I think this is acedia or something like that. Does that sound right? I don't know the name of it. That wood.
Beautiful.
But that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on. Thanks, Todd. Good pieces there. Another compliment to what we saw on the demo. So let's span back to Captain Eddie and get his take on the demo and what he saw.
Color. Couldn't say it any simpler. That was a beautiful color and a great application. But one thing he told you the truth: don't do it bare-fingered, because you'll be talked about for a long, long time. And don't do it before you go to the doctor, because you have to explain why you have these tints. I've been there. But it was very interesting, and we learned a lot about blending, which is good. And I do believe the recommendation to cover it with lacquer, with shellac, that's always been my go back. If there's something that's got a couple of different products in it, I can normally spray some shellac over the top of it and get away with almost anything. It will create a crust or a coat. Crust is a good term. Which you can work from. And from that, you can go to your 3408 or your other finishes right on top of it. Gives you a great base to work with. And that's what we do here, is help you develop techniques and systems that'll help you improve your work. Now, suppose you don't do it all on the same things or the same kind of work. We saw a piece by Tim Hatch tonight. And Tim, that's a beautiful piece you're turning, and you're right to give it a little waiting time, then go back in and hollow it again. I like the elbow for what you're doing, especially if you can use the elbow with a hooking tip or a coring tip, where you can take out slices as it goes in, which is a little specialty tip, not made from by elbow, but by other cutters. But they do a very less impact coring, and you got enough throat on it to get the pieces out. The pieces normally cause you a little trouble when you get back in there a second time, because things have moved and flexed and and whatever. And again, Tim, thanks, by the way, for making note on chat tonight, because that's where we put these things, is August 23, 24, and 25. Waco, Texas is a place to be. That is going to be SWAT 2024. Again, that's August 23, 24, 25. Hotel reservations locked in for SWAT should open in about 15 days or 16 days. And that's when you start locking the hotel reservations and making all the other deals to get there. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have another table up for all of our members of Worldwide Woodturners to get together. And I am currently looking for somebody to handle spreading the word about Worldwide Woodturners at the symposium for AAW that's coming up in the Northwest later on this year, this spring. And this is what that hat looks like that you've seen on our website, on our Facebook page, and this is available at Amazon, and the details are there. It tells you how to pick the hat, and then you add the artwork, and this is a sticker. It's not embroidered, it's not screen print, it's a sticker that's on there. Hard to feel the edge and all, so it's a pretty good job. And it's the basic logo, and these go to you with for about $7 each. And there's several versions of these hats on that, and all kinds of colors. Yes, I've been fussed that I can only buy 2. She won't let me buy any more. You know, but it's a nice little add to what you have. And we also have the stickers available. That's the club's stickers. They come to you 10 in a pack for $5. That information is on the front page of the world's greatest website for wood turning. Yep, worldwidewoodturners.org. And that's where you can also find the details if you want to get a shirt screen printed. Yeah, if you have a nice shirt that you want to get screen printed, the deal is this. You send us the shirt plus the fee and the envelope to get it back to you, and we'll get it screen printed front and back and send it back to you. And it's your shirt. It's what you pick. We don't want to pick your clothes for you. And you don't have to worry about, oh, wear a large or medium. We all lie about the size we wear. You know that. So when you pick that, it's in there. And if you want some embroidery work done, Bob got us the details on the embroidery patterns. There's 4 of them on our site, and you can take that for your home embroidery system. Or if you have a local embroiderer that does things for you or your club or your organization, you can use that artwork there. See, we're trying to get the word out for worldwidewoodturners.org, and that's what we do here. And if you're marking your calendar and you wonder when we're coming back, next week we're working on getting the master slicer himself, Bart Slay, to come in with us. He's been ill. He's been rather under the weather, but he's a trooper. And we asked, can he join us for a little bit of demonstration next week? That'll be with us. I look forward to that. He is one of the few turners in the world I go out of my way to see. He really is. And don't forget, on March 13th, tips and tricks. That's your opportunity to dig deep into your think bank and see what you came up with around your shop. Safety Sue said it earlier. Little tips like rounding off the corners on those on your chucks and keeping them clean, on your chuck jaws and keeping them clean. You realize that, and I saw comments in chat about chucks and how things fit and go together and all that. You know, most of the time, our problems with things being out of sync are because they're dirty. Yeah, they're dirty. Some of us are really terrible housekeepers. Oh, we spray that WD stuff in that yellow and blue can all over everything, and it just grabs all the trash and the dirt, and then you pack it on there, and things get out of wampus. So just a little bit of clean. And the question was asked: did somebody brush out the grooves before they put that finish on? Yeah, the big box stores don't normally carry them, but in the Ace Hardwares and stores like that, you will find non-ferrous wheels, for wire wheels, brass or copper or whatever, for cleaning out that, and it won't leave back any residue, and they're not as harsh, and they'll clean those filings out. It's a little something to look for when you get it, when you're looking to improve your detailing. And look, a simple detail is to take something, and I think we're here about it tonight with Kirk, is take it outside the shop. Okay, Sue, you caught that? I did say take it out. Take it outside the shop where it's nice and fireproof or whatever, but take it out there and torch it a little bit. Now, MAP gas is really hot. Torch is quick. So don't stay too long in any one spot, but do a little flash pass on it. Then come back with a little light wire wheel, brush those grooves out and use that your paste to enhance the grains. It's an old trick. It's been done for years and years and years. or hundreds of years to enhance things. They didn't use math, but hey, it'll accent the grain. All those tips and tricks we pass on right here on Worldwide Woodturners. Each week we look for that. And I saw a couple of notes being passed around about what goes into the newsletter. What do you want in the newsletter? How do I get something in the newsletter? How do you think you get something in the newsletter?
Submit
It's simple. If you want to put something in the newsletter, you send it to editor at worldwidewoodturners.org. If you got a photograph you want to be in, you send it to editor, worldwidewoodturners.org. If you got an idea, same address, send it to them. If you got you want to write an article, talk to us about it. Remember, the bottom line of all of this conversation, all this evening is, it's your wood turning club. There's no hierarchy. There's no one sitting here saying, we can't do that. All we look for is, what more can we do? We're here to share, and this is it. We give free demonstrations each week. We love it. We have a good time. We talk about these people that do IRDs online. I mean, Doug Miller does one every Tuesday. He brings us the results. Wayne does them, shows us his results. Mac Harbor teaches. And Matt comes in and shows us what he does. And he comes with some great ideas and products, etc. And it goes on and on and on. And that's why we keep clicking. We're at week number 228 for this club. And I think we got a little good long road ahead of us. We will be there at SWAT August 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We're going to have a table for dinner. And I think Duxbury is going to be.
Yeah, Duxbury's in charge of that.
Duxbury, I think, we're making Rita.
We'll be there. We'll be there. We may be demonstrating. I don't know.
Okay, well, Rita, we're going to have Rita in charge.
We'll be there. Yeah.
We'll turn it over to her. Yeah.
Demonstrating? I'll be there demonstrating second year in a row.
All right. See, we're almost in a rut. But that's going to happen this summer. And it's a time to make plans, to be around and get things done. If you've got an event coming up, any kind of event, anything dealing with wood turning, that little chat box over there, type it in there. Tell us about it. If you'd like to be on our contact list, type it in there. Tell us what you want to share. And then go to our website, look for member list and contact and fill out the form exactly as it requests. And you'll get a hold of it. We don't have a members list. We have a contact list. It's a voluntary thing. And what's on there is what you put on there. No requirements, no commercials. Remember, everything you saw tonight was brought to you by our membership. Nobody paid a nickel. And nobody's going to get a nickel for doing anything with this club. We're very strict about it. It's because it's information woodturners share amongst friends. Sitting on a tailgate out in the parking lot. That's what we started to do, and that's what we do. It's getting a little crowded on the tailgate, but hey, tell your friends about us. When you see the newsletter, it's out there tonight on the website. Print a copy, grab a link, pass it on to your friends, send it on to your club guys. It's a fun thing to do, and right now I'd like to say it's in its infancy. But this infancy is up and running. And thanks to JJ and a crew, this thing is really taking off. And it makes me proud. Boy, it makes me so proud. Every time it comes out, I look at the membership's activity. Articles by the members, tips by the members, photographs by the members, all this by the members. Nothing's locked in except the fact that we like wood turning. All right. Y'all be good this week. Remember, Safety Sue says, you be safe. David from down in Australia says, save the chat. And if you don't save the chat, guess where it's going to be at? It is going to be on the world's greatest website for wood turning, worldwidewoodturners.org, with our colorblind webmaster. That's why he don't know what color it is, but he knows the details are here. I'll tell you that right now. And if we joked about or talked about, I've done the demo on this, I've done the demo on that, and folks say, where do I find it? World's greatest website on wood turning, worldwidewoodturners.org. There is not another one like it in the world. We can say it, we can back it up, we're proud of it, and we're waiting for you to be part of it. Until next week, you take, I gotta say happy anniversary to my wife again today. Yes, Ron, I remembered. And y'all take care, be good, be safe. That's the key, be safe. See y'all next Wednesday.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So
Good night, everybody.
this is the end of the official meeting. And so the tailgate officially starts now in what I like to call the after hours. So for those of you that want to bow out and not have to feel bad about bowing out, now's your opportunity to go ahead and say goodbye and not feel bad because you're not missing anything. We're just going to sit on the tailgate and socialize here.